I have no idea what to expect.
Well, we're going to find out very shortly as we do head on over in. We've got the social vote up there on the screen. Nice number for NIP, 69% there. You guys at home backing NIP. As we do move on into this one. I don't know if it's going to be that clear-cut, I'm going to be honest with you. You usually find one of two things when a map gets consistently banned. Either teams don't like it, or they're trying to keep things out of the limelight. They're trying to keep things to one side. They're saving strats.
Who do you fancy?
We're going to find out. I don't know. I wouldn't like to call it. I can't even remember what I've predicted. I think I may have predicted FaZe.
I think the reason why I said FaZe is, so far during this competition, FaZe have been unpredictable. Yeah, you cannot tell where they're going to go. NIP, I think, a little bit more streamlined in terms of how they've done things, whereas FaZe have been a wild card, 100%. No idea what they're going to pull off, and that's what I think is their scariest thing going into this matchup. NIP have no idea what to expect. Yes, we know that both these teams have played against each other many, many times before, but I think FaZe have looked a lot stronger than even what they did in BR6. They came first in BR6, and I think they've looked stronger than that.
NIP are a team that we've consistently criticised for being consistently slow.
Too slow, Julio, too slow.
And it's something that I mean, if you've been watching throughout the last couple of weeks, you'll have heard us say it a million times if you've seen an NIP game, and that is that NIP move very slowly when they're on the attack. That's something that they need to try and iron out here. Seeing the bans come onto the screen now, we've got Maverick, Capital, Mirror, and Valkyrie there being removed. What do we think about the bans here? We've got the Thatcher available demo. It's not too unusual. We're kind of par for the course defender bans, but the Capital.
I like it. I like it from NIP. FaZe are a team that do very well with that operator. It gives them boatload of utility, and also these little pocket strats they'll pull out if needed. We've seen Souls play that operator, and he's typically like the hard breach. We've seen them run a Capital on Villa with no hard breach. You know, that's how much they value the utility that you can get from that operator. So I think it's a very smart ban from NIP. It kind of shuts down that playstyle that FaZe Clan can pull out any moment. Thatcher being up it's going to make, I think, the attacks a little bit easier, especially as we look in towards Kitchen, for example. Should be no issues if there is any Kaid being played. I think also for the mute jammers as well, which is something that was highlighted also on the desk. That's going to make things a lot easier for the attacks. We might see an attacker-sided Kafe. We might see it. It's
not every day that Thatcher's available, and it's something that NIP are going to take full advantage of straight off the rip. You see that being picked out there by Psycho, as the first objective is going to be that kitchen. Seems to be a bit of a theme with us and Kafe today. It's where we left our class this morning, isn't it? Our first game of the day, and it's where we pick up now in the third game. Starting off inside of this kitchen area. Again, as you say, we've not seen Latam play this map all too much, so we don't know what to expect. Is the kitchen going to be coming out here as the primary site? Because we do tend to see teams that will favour either the top floor or that kitchen.
Well, we see an extension into bakery right away. I don't know what Latam like to attack. Do they go for the more casual approach of take bakery, open up the wall, and then try and get your picks? Or will they go with what everyone else is doing inside of the meta and go for the freezer take? I have no idea what to expect. Kaid being brought, like I mentioned, Thatcher up, not going to do much. Yeah, very, very simple. For NIP on the attack, they'll be able to realize, oh, hey, that's electrified. Let's get rid of that, open up the hatch, and away they go. I really don't know. Give me a couple of rounds and I'll come back to you. Does that sound good?
I mean, it sounds good. We have got a small sample size to really be going off here, especially with these two teams on this map. So it is going to be fresh to see how they want to try and approach these things. I do like that picking onto the Kaid even though Thatcher is available, because it's just something else to slow NIP down. And that's really the trick here, and it's where we've seen some teams gain some relatively easy rounds. It's just giving them a bit of a problem out there on the roam. Give them something to deal with and sink the teeth into, and just watch the time tick on by.
No real room presence, so that's the only thing from FaZe. Very much an anchor-orientated defense. See a lot of them in the bomb site. Of course, that typical position that we're used to seeing inside of VIP. You have the shield set up, ready to kill anyone who tries to drop that back hatch. And right now for NIP, not interested in bakery. I think they're just going to sweep the top floor, move on down, get Pino in with your sledgehammer, open up as many angles as you can. But like we've seen with how the meta has developed for Kafe, is nobody really sits inside anymore. You're all out and about. You're outside in towards coats, in towards restaurants, Small as well by the single window. Nobody stays inside of the bomb site. It's just too much of a risk.
And the danger here with starting off inside of the bomb site is that those air jabs are going to go down from Julio on the Nomad, and it's going to make it very difficult then to make rotations. We've just got a nice glimpse of one there at the top of the red stairs. That's going to be covering off some of the flanks. Not quite as many drones as there were a couple of seconds ago. NIP had done really well with the drones up until around the sort of 1:40 mark when they did start to lose them, but they've still got plenty of information to go off here. They're now going to try and make their way down these white stairs. Cyber is still going to be playing inside of this VIP. He's laser focused onto that hatch. His entire job here is to watch that hatch drop and make sure that if anybody does drop, that they get taken on out. Soul's playing quite risky here behind the bar. It's going to be Pino to find an opener over onto cameraman. Smoke going to be falling there as the opening kill, but that's coming at the 35-second mark, Demo.
NIP, I mean, if they have men up, they do a great job at taking it. Oh, and Psycho, what a great shot onto Soul. Soul's missed the head, and, well, Psycho in a perfect position to pick up 2 for himself. Muzi as well, and NIP have taken a stormer of a first round. Everything going their way, and they can slowly move in to the bomb site, get that diffuser planted, unless Bullet can pull off something, and 2 of them line up, finds one, battling back against the second, but still tucked in beside the rice bags, and he's gone. NIP, strong start.
You can just see what that means to them. That's round number 1 inside of a best of 3. M said it on the desk. She said, it's going to get loud in here. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that they might be right.
You reckon?
It's round 1 in a best of 3.
The Brazilian sides being loud? Never. No.
Something we love to see.
No.
The passion that comes out that early. It's exactly what we are here for. It was a great take from NIP.
It was, yeah.
They spent a lot of time in their typical fashion, but things went in their favor. That kill that Psycho was able to get, that was the thing that opened up the entire site, because as soon as Souls dies, Cyber dies as well. You cannot then start to worry about both angles, especially when there's literally one right in front of you and one directly behind you. You're trying to watch the hatch drop, you're trying to watch white stairs, and you've got a big double window behind you that you're now vulnerable from. That opener was huge. Unfortunate little TK in there as well, but these things do happen. All of that enough for NIP to come away with the opening round there.
We have a bit of an issue. We're going to go to a quick technical pause as we've had an issue with the lobby, but we'll try and get you guys in as quick as we can. So, NIP, for me, throughout this competition, Ollie, one thing they've struggled with is if they don't have that opening pick, they stop. They don't move. They don't do anything. Nothing on the board for them. They need to get out of that habit. 100% they need to get out of it, because that is, for me, their only weakness. Whenever NIP have everyone alive, they have their full 5, they have the opening pick, unstoppable team.
Let's see if they can continue that trend. They did get the opening pick inside of that round. They were able to take down Cameraman. Cameraman playing on the smoke, could have done something to try and deny a little bit of the ingress, but the gunfights were lost on the fringe of the bomb site. It wasn't direct fights and direct pressure. By the time the attackers are in the site, it's too late on Kitchen Bakery. Yeah. With the way that you're holding it in those off-site locations, trying to play behind bar, trying to play in Christmas or VIP, at the point where you've lost those areas, the site's not a fun place to be.
No, and I think that's kind of what Kitchen has become. It's a bomb site that you do not sit inside. You have to get on the kind of, like I said, fringes, on the outside territory of the bomb site, and just try and play for your refrags. I think that's something that FaZe could not manage, is being able to trade off kill for kill, and in the end, it costed them. For FaZe, I think they're a team that are not afraid to get aggressive. I think they've shown their aggressive standpoint throughout this tournament. If they're against a team like NIP, where, like I've just said, if you find that first pick, they stumble, FaZe should be out for blood, getting those kills. That's what I want to see from FaZe. A little bit more aggro. Stop NIP. Do not give them the time to set up these incredible attacks.
Especially on a map like Kafe where there is opportunity for that aggression in the early
spawn
part of the round. Give me a little spawn peek. Give me a little run out. Give me a little bit of aggression. And NIP will soon slow on down. We are heading back into the game. We've got all the players inside of the lobby. We're going to perform some final checks before throwing on in. But everything is looking just fine, as we have another attempt here downstairs. FaZe are going to try and stick this kitchen site, opting to not go for reading or upstairs into bar. kind of unusual because the way that NIP attacked it seems very repeatable. There was no, I guess the one gunfight that you could say, if that gunfight goes in a different direction, then maybe the round does, is Souls playing behind the bar. So I'd like to see what the change is for that. We can see Souls this time. Decade is gone. Decade has been replaced by a Bandit, and that's going to be played by Astro. Souls is instead going to go for the Alibi.
Astro and the Bandit as well. They fully reinforced Freezer Wall. They didn't do it last time. They left it open, trying to play that long angle in from Restaurant, holding that angle, but yeah, reinforcing it now. Everything more or less reinforced. Still going with that little rotate. We're seeing a Bandit shotgun as well. Okay, right, I'm with you. I'm with you, FaZe. Do I want to be with you in the Bandit shotgun? I don't know, but I'm not opposed. Because I've seen that thing do damage before.
It all depends on where it's played, Demo. You know, we can talk about how good the MP7 is. We can sit here and say that, you know, oh, has Astro got the right load out there? But it all depends on where Astro wants to play that shotgun. That shotgun can be deadly. And we've seen it work for not just Bandit, but for Jaeger as well.
NIP, what's your plan? More than likely, similar story of what we seen the last time. Moving in, sweeping the floors, get yourself in towards that mid-floor, in towards train, open up the site, and then from there, just establish your take. This is what I want to see from FaZe, though. We have a roam game on our hands, so NIP are going to have to work a little bit more quickly whenever it comes to clearing out these roamers, because they will be chasing some of them this time around. Bullet inside of Pillar. What if he's going to be spotted out and droned out? And Psycho, he better make sure he does his drone correctly, because if he misses him and he runs in, that's an easy kill for FaZe.
Looks like it could be an opportunity here, at least for Bullet. He knows that somebody's going to be playing out, but no. The player has managed to sneak on by. Psycho's actually got himself into reading now. That engagement is just going to take a little bit longer to come all the way through. Psycho now holding the angle as both players seem pretty aware of one another, but Muzi has other ideas. He's going to pick himself up too. Psycho finds a double as well. We've not even seen half of the round demo, and already it's a 5 versus 1. Poor old Astro. You said that the shotgun can do damage. It's got to do a lot of damage here.
It can do damage, but it can't do miracles, Ollie. That's one thing I know. Astro at a severe disadvantage. A quad roam game from FaZe has been dismantled entirely by NIP. 2 double kills for them. Everyone's still alive. No utility has been wasted as well, which is the biggest thing to keep in mind. NIP have been able to kill 4 people the most minimalistic way I've ever seen.
Astro going to get himself into an engagement here on Red Stairs. Not even going to find the first. It's going to be a flawless Pino finding that final frag. NIP dominant here on Kafe. That's got to force a site change, surely.
Wow. NIP ready to play. NIP, could this be your year? Could this be your tournament? The team who beat you last year in the grand final, no longer with us, Ollie. I mean, SSG haven't died, but they got knocked out, if anyone missed that. Like I'm at a funeral of just speaking about SSG. But I'm sure for many SSG fans, it does feel as if SSG has passed away. But that's what happens. SI moves on, and NIP moving on with it.
NIP have come to play here, make no mistake of that. That's 2 really clean rounds there. Round 1 was great, really nicely executed. How quickly NIP were able to dismantle that roam game. 2 players got double kills. How does that happen? Those kills they should have gone down as trades.
That white corridor again, you said it in the G2 game.
The timing of that is unfortunate on the side of FaZe, but they're just a little bit off the mark. They're out of sync there. Those kills should have definitely gone down as either, if you're going to roam like that, you've got to try and double push, you've got to set up those crossfires and really work it out. It was unfortunate that Psycho was able to sneak into reading and Bullet didn't quite have the angle on it, but he didn't want to be overexposing himself. And it's almost like that lack of aggression has really cost him in that sense.
Top floor, we'll see a change from FaZe, and looking at their setup, it's nothing too out of the ordinary. Everything seems to be running smooth. Got the Melusi, which I think is a great pickup for FaZe for this bomb site specifically. There is a lot of choke points, and if you can get them caught inside of Banshees, that's going to make a lot of issues for whoever's attacking into that. And one thing as well about the Melusis as well is Melusis are always going to be a threat. Whenever a team sees them, they think, okay, let's get rid of them as quick as we can. If they're dumping all their utility, are they going to be ready for the Maestro cameras, which I think are even more important. FaZe have brought a lot of operators to soak up utility, and then whenever it comes to the later stage, those Maestro cameras, if they are not targeted, they may be the game changer.
I guess the advantage here for NIP is that they've got that Thatcher that they can sort of rest on a little bit heavier than you would be able to if you didn't have that. A slower start to this round than previously, but NIP are just taking the time. It was uncharacteristically quick of them in round number 2, and I wouldn't expect to see all of the rounds going down that quickly, although an opening kill is going to be found yet again on the side of NIP with Pino taking down Bullet. Bullet just rotating outside of the bathroom. That white corridor being the hot spot again.
One thing as well to keep in mind with how NIP has set themselves up, there was the very typical pixel position being played by FaZe. They had the Goyo shield in a position to try and help them hold Piano. And as you've seen with the Thatcher, just showcases how strong it is. Tosses a Thatcher grenade, it disables 2 ADSs, and Ash easily finishes off that shield. It just shows you don't need to waste that utility anymore. You have an EMP. One EMP does the job of, what, 2 projectiles? Buy one, get one free.
Seems strange to say, but we're inside of round number 3, and we're really yet to see FaZe have a significant impact here. Astro going to be playing inside of Cocktail. Cameraman is going to be below. NIP looking now to aggressively push in through Piano. Cameraman finally going to find a kill over onto Pino. It's a start, it's a slow start, but it's something at this point, and it's something that FaZe desperately need. A Goyo shield going to get popped at the top of White Stairs. Toxic Babe canister is going to cut off that pixel angle for a time, but there's still 35 seconds left. And we can see the attackers, they're fairly well stacked up there inside of the freezer. Souls is going to be full white flash as Muzi swings on through as well. Julio going to take down the full white flash Souls. All the kills come in a matter of a second. NIP, 3 great rounds here on the attack. You can see just how fired up these guys are.
And the thing is, Ollie, whenever they win a round, they are looking at their opponents. If you don't know the stage, they are right across from each other, extremely close. And you will be able to see the eyes of your opponents. And for NIP, they have it now. They have that confidence. They are in the driving seat. And, well, FaZe, I think they're in the back seat, Ollie, and they've been chained up.
FaZe are really yet to show us all too much here.
They've had 1 kill in 3 rounds. 1 kill.
It isn't looking great, I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting it to be this decisive for NIP. I know that we were coming into this, we couldn't really decide which way it was going to go. It's early on inside of a best of 3. That's something to bear in mind. You know, we can't get too far ahead of ourselves here. And I'm going to say all that with a but. NIP are looking terrifying. Where is the NIP that wastes all the time in the world? Where's the NIP that finds the final 10 seconds of every single attacking round? We've barely been there.
Big talking point about NIP is as the tournament progresses, they look better and better every single time. I think Muzi has stepped up big time. I think he also, like NIP, is getting better every single time we see him. I mean, this guy, we talked about him last year at Invitational. He was this new kid on the block, making a name for himself. Now he wants to have his name engraved into Siege history.
I think typically when you think about NIP, you could think of Psycho, Pino, and Muzi, and it will be any one of them that would step up. In this 6 Invitational, we've seen Muzi carry the load. We've seen him be the one that's consistently grabbing the kills now, and that's not to say that Pino and Psycho aren't up there. They are, but Muzi is at the top of that tree.
I think Julio has also had an incredible tournament.
Let's mention Kamikaze as well while we're at it, Sean.
On the hard support, I mean, you know, obviously the hard support, it's a job that nobody wants to do, but somebody has to do it. It's not the flashiest, and it's difficult to talk about the supports because you kind of see more kills just of how everything sets up. I'm sure if you were to go in and be able to analyze the games a lot more, you would see what the support does. And thankfully as well, Ollie, after Invitational, all the VODs get released, and you can go and look at every single person. You want to watch an entire map. Just watching Kamikaze, you can do that.
Yeah, the top-down views will be released. As I'm kind of excited to be able to go through and rewatch games, and you're going to be able to see so much that just gets missed in the heat of the moment when you can go back and rewind and rewatch and really start to break it all down. So that's where the supports will truly gain a bit of recognition for the time being. Bullet is going to be playing Pixel.
Close.
Trying to challenge there onto the upside-down repel. Certainly looked close. the pressure already enough for him to be forced back into bathroom. He still knows that there's going to be a player on that upside down rappel as all the flash grenades come on through to burn that utility. He's gained his reticle back after Thatcher's EMP, but he doesn't really need that. He knows exactly where he should be going anyway. Still, it is enough for him to be forced back a little bit further. Doesn't want to get caught between that rock and a hard place of a push coming through Piano and then that white window being pressured as well. So he's really consciously trying to dip in and out of that. He's now advanced back up to Pixel. Obviously feeling like there's no pressure coming through from that white window, so we can play here for a little bit longer. Those ADSs are going to regenerate as well. So NIP needs to be fairly quick here in what they are trying to achieve.
Shield is now destroyed, and NIP just take a little bit more time because there was one change for FaZe. They've brought in Cyber with the Wamai. They were able to put some Wamai charges more close towards the NIP players, mostly towards that piano wall, trying to save those ADSs as long as they could, but of course there's too much utility for the attackers. You cannot deal with all of it, but it has stalled them out just a little bit. Ollie, NIP have actually rotated over, and now we have a split take. We have a lot of them pushing in for Freezer, and Psycho open things up. Another man runs right past him, but he misses him. Cyber eliminates Pino. We have some players on the East Rappel also, but I think they've been dealt with. Muzi gone, and Kamikaze straight into the bomb site he goes. He has the diffuser, and now all NIP need to do is cover him and get this diffuse down. Giulio trying to hold it down as firm as he can, but here comes Astro, the beast. Can he find these kills that he needs? Giulio has managed to slip out, but no, Cyber across the map finds him, and Cameraman with a long angle on the SMG is enough to finish off Kamikaze. FaZe, great retake from them.
FaZe needed that one there. NIP bulldozed their way through that site all the way in. How often do you see a plant come down inside a cocktail when the players start inside a cigar shop? That just isn't something that you often see. If you're going to see a plant on that side, they've repelled in from east typically. But Julio, no, straight all the way on through. Pressure coming through Freezer as well. Ultimately, there weren't enough kills that came out before all of that happened, and we've slipped a little bit back into typical NIP territory where time was running out. 18 seconds left when Giulio was trying to get it down. It's not the worst thing in the world to try and do at that point, but if he'd have waited any longer, he would have likely not been given the same opportunity.
Just one simple change for FaZe Clan. Putting those Wamai discs just ahead of the ADSs was enough to stall out NIP.
It was the time, wasn't it? There was 35 seconds when that final push came in, and that was basically players getting into sort of Piano and then getting into Freezer. That's happening at 35.
They sat and looked and think, oh, why is this shield not gone? You know, it took a bit of time for NIP to communicate that over. Don't know if I agree with the rotate and putting two players in East. Reason why is those two players in East died extremely quickly, and they had no impact. So I don't know, maybe if we had a full 5-man rush in, it could have been a little bit better, but in hindsight, maybe they were thinking we need to apply pressure somewhere else. They were having, of course, a difficult time with the time management. They know they just had to cause as much chaos as they could and try and sneak in a plan.
I don't think NIP are going to be too disheartened by that one. FaZe certainly not as loud as we've seen NIP be at that round win.
FaZe still up against it. Keep that in mind, Ollie. You know, it's only 3-1. Because if FaZe get loud and NIP win this round, NIP will be even louder.
I just want everyone to be getting louder, I think. I think that's just what I want.
Yelling competition. Okay. So, top floor is locked out now for FaZe. So NIP don't have to worry about the top floor. But if we look at our next bomb site, which is going to be the reading, it may as well be the top floor in many circumstances, Ollie, because a lot of defenders, they will try and hold this bomb site from above. Reason why is verticality is always going to be something you have to worry about as a defender, and how you can keep that away from the attacker, so you will naturally set up to try and hold that top floor. NIP should have an easy time, I think, of getting in towards that piano, and exact same setup pretty much as if it was in the top floor, that shield being set up, the ADSs, but this was much better from NIP. Just look at the difference. How quick was that compared to last round?
No Wamai this time from FaZe, so it is going to make that job a lot easier. Bullet already forced back to white stairs. He's got the window prepped in case he fancies a little jaunt outside. Well, that could be seen as quite reckless behavior at this moment in time. Muzi now going to make his entry on into Piano as well. We've got Psycho there too. They're going to be able to start removing some of these Banshees that are going to be on the floor and look to progress on in. Still players for FaZe going to be occupying at this top floor, as we've got Cocktail and Freezer both being played, but the Thatcher grenade and some X-Kairos pellets are Going to see the player inside of Freezer pushed on out, and Muzi going to take advantage of that rotation. Right place, right time there. NIP doing a good job to force and pinch and push these players around.
Yeah, Muzi in a great position, has that long angle, can cover if anyone tries to maybe aggress onto that opening. We see plenty of times a player would actually challenge Hibana holes as they're being opened up. But of course, if he tries to run away, he's also got him. So yeah, great positioning from Muzi. It's gifted him that first kill and the second as well. Souls, he thought something was going to happen to him, and well, the senses were correct, but 1 second too late.
That's top floor control gained now with still 45 seconds left to play with. It's time enough to open up this floor and to start rooting out the defenders that are going to be playing below. Psycho trying to find an angle there over onto the rotate as Pino lays waste to this floor. Still, a plan could do with going down, as while there is 30 seconds left, that's time enough for FaZe to try and hold on. No significant denial left as C4s have been spent by both of the players on FaZe that hold them. A triple kill for Muzi. Astro finds one onto Kamikaze. That's likely the diffuser cold inside of Laundry, and yes, it will be. Now the pressure is really on NIP because despite this advantage that they've got in terms of man count, they need to find a lot of these kills in a very short amount of time. Astro playing so patiently there, finds one onto Psycho, now able to rotate his way all the way on back out, finds one over onto Muzi. This is very doable now for FaZe. Cameraman shuts down Julio, and Pino is left to try and plant. Extending the clock, knows he can't do it, comes off. FaZe, they take the round.
NIP, a round thrown away, just thrown to FaZe. Don't know how FaZe have managed to steal that one away. I think Astro would probably be the answer to that one, but wow, NIP, lack of information. Verticality wasn't pressured enough. How can you allow that man just to sit right above sledge holes? I don't know. Muzi did extremely well once again, finding these opening picks, setting up NIP for a great round, and then everything just collapses. I don't know, it seems to be if NIP just have one thing that doesn't work for them, they can't do anything.
The one thing in that round was Astro getting the kill onto Kamikaze as he dropped into Laundry. That was the big oopsie inside of that round for NIP, because at that point the diffuser's then cold on the ground inside of Laundry. You can't try and get a plant off. It's this kill right here. Astro takes down Kamikaze as he drops. Muzi's on a triple at this point, and he's going to be coming down these white stairs, but it doesn't matter because Astro can then make a rotation. He knows where the diffuser is. It's very difficult here. We can see 7 seconds when Pino finally recovers that diffuser. He's not able to get trades. He's not able to help his teammates while he's recovering that.
But then you have to question, how can Astro go from Laundry into reading right at Pillar Store? How has he managed to make that transition without anyone shutting him down from above? There should always, especially if you have the man advantage, they had a 2-man advantage going into that. There should be at least one person always above, cutting off those rotations, not allowing Astro to do what he just did. If there was, that round wouldn't have happened.
Loading new mag.
Tough stuff there for NIP. FaZe having to fight and scrap for every single round already. A big clutch there that's going to do something for the morale, and well, the first 3 rounds decisively going in NIP's favour, and FaZe have seemingly found some answers to the questions that were being posed to them. There's now potential to come away at a 3-3 split, and at that moment in time, a lot of the momentum is really taken out of this game, and it really starts to become anybody's.
See the Bandit again. This time, doesn't have the shotgun as the more typical weapon off the MP7. FaZe going for another roam game. Last time they attempted this, they got, yeah, they got. It wasn't pretty.
It was 2 double kills, wasn't it? I think it was Muzi and Psycho that were able to come on through and grab 2 kills apiece and just shut everything down. You know, you can't rely on people getting multi-kills every single time. Muzi this time going to be pushing in down this white corridor. He's inside a washroom at the moment, going to progress on through. He seems to be working off some yellow pings, but they are just a slight bit old. Top floor has been gained now by NIP, and Muzi can instead just focus on watching any rotation back down those white stairs.
Is this another triple roam? It seems to be from FaZe Clan, so still sticking with their ideology of kill them quick and try and cause issues. Cameraman is in the bottom white stairs right below Muzi. I think Muzi's going to know that. You can hear the Legion mines getting tossed out. He's going to be aware. Let's see how good his situational awareness is. And oh, it's great. Souls tries the challenge, but Muzi is too good today. And still aware of the man below him. Bullet now. He's trapped in a very bad location as the floor starts to get opened up. He's actually going to challenge Psycho. Psycho perhaps maybe letting him get through, but no, there is the kill coming in favor of NIP. Kamikaze from above. A great rotation, and NIP again has swept this roam game.
Astro again left in the 1 versus 5. This is exactly what we saw last time. This time, however, he will shut down Muzi. But we can already see players flooding down those bar stairs, almost jostling and fighting for an opportunity at that final kill. It's going to be Psycho to find it. It's going to put NIP at a 4-2 split here on the half.
On FaZe's roam game, there's no real structure. There's no setup. It's just them. They're running around. I think if you want to try and really pressure NIP, I like the aggression, go for the roam, but you need to try and have a secondary position to fall back to. Have some reinforcements, have some utility. If you look at how they defended the reading, they had the shield set up, being able to delay time from NIP. That's it. That's the code to crack NIP. Waste their time. That is it.
NIP had 1 drone left at that point, and it was in pocket. They'd gathered all of their information. And we often talk about teams that are playing confidently when they're able to drone something once and then act upon that intel and do it quickly. Hot drone it. Not drone it, then wonder, oh, is it now still clear? Has something changed? Re-drone it. And then that sort of hesitation and doubt starts to come in. The way that NIP are moving there, or the way that they were moving on the attack, was so confidently. They were not going in to lose any single gunfight.
So, halftime. Now we have the side switch. FaZe clan on the attack, NIP on the defense. So, Ollie, one thing about FaZe that I've always loved about them is they're not afraid to push the boat out on operator selections. Look what we're seeing. We're seeing a Glaz and a Gridders.
Love a Gridlock. Gridlock's a passion pick here on Kafe.
But why? I mean, Nomad's up unless they want to bring smokes to help Glaz, but then...
A lot of smokes.
I mean, there's better smoke operators that you could have. So, I don't know if I agree with the Gridlock pick. It's, I think, just too slow. I think Gridlock, as an operator, I think being a 1-speed isn't favorable in the meta. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one.
We'll see where the Gridlocks are deployed. There's good use in putting the Gridlocks out on the staircases. You can try and deny the sound of a plant with it if
that's
that sort of situation. There are ways and means of fitting this in. I agree that those pros often outweigh the cons of the 1-speed, but there are specific circumstances in where it will do the job. FaZe have obviously got an idea of how they want to run this. I think the thing that shocks me the most, Demo, is we've not seen an Ashe and we've not seen a Zafir.
True.
Name me the last siege round you saw where neither of those were present.
Yeah, it has been a while, but not having any soft distraction is a bit of a surprise, especially for the top floor. And look at the utility from NIP. They have Maestro cameras, which are going to be an issue. They have the Banshees, Castle Barricades. I really don't know how they're going to eliminate all of this. If they're relying on Twitch drones, that's not a good idea. Twitch drones are 1 bullet and it's gone. So not the greatest idea to have. They have Sledge here for the castle, but it's the Maestro cams for me, because keep in mind those Maestro cameras, if smokes are up, see through them.
No flashes to burn the laser gates either. So it's going to be down to any sort of throwable. A drone will burn a laser gate. A smoke will burn the surrogate, and of course a nade will as well. But they're not really pieces of utility you want to be using just to get through something. Kamikaze is almost locked off there inside a cigar shop. Going to get himself into an engagement with Cyber. Cyber comes out the better in that one. And that castle barricade kind of helps him a little bit here, in all honesty, because he knows he's not going to be pushed from that angle. The skylight is being watched from above as well, so he can be pretty safe of his location now while he just gathers a bit of intel on the drone. The player inside of Freezer is going to be known. Souls is watching the flank watch. We've seen him pull off some fancy shots with the Cali. He's on the glass. It's not quite the same, but it's as good as. It's not really the player that you want, the operator that you really want watching the flank.
What are they going to go for? Astro is now rotated into Cigar Shop, and he is the diffuse carrier. There goes the smokes. Where's the cover? Can Glaz make it happen? Here we go, and a C4. Oh, gets shot midair. Wow, what a shot from Souls. Diffuser is being planted, and FaZe have stormed the bomb site. This take is actually working for them. Psycho has found cameraman, but the diffuser's down in a great position. And Cyber, wow, what a play from him, making everything happen for his team. And Psycho stands no chance. Cyber a quad in the round. Oh my word, Ollie. Was not expecting that. That was a round that you look at on paper and think they've lost, but somehow they've won.
And that's why Siege isn't played on paper, Demo. Siege is played by very skilled individual players, and that's exactly what we saw right there. And then Souls, I'm sorry. I don't think I have ever in my life seen a nitro cell shot out mid-air, close range albeit, so a very short amount of time to react with glass. That's just unheard of. You know, you see people spray and pray them, you know, that sort of stuff works. Unbelievable stuff there on the side of Souls. I'm very surprised that that worked. I'll be honest with you. I think we both are. We're going to see it now again with the same lineup coming out as the Thatcher is 6-picked onto the glass, but Cyber and Astro really coming up trumps.
This is something that should never... Oh, it wasn't the glass. It was actually Astro who shot it. So, I mean, to be fair, both of them shot it at the same time. From our perspective, that's what we've seen. Will we give it to him anyway?
We give it to him anyway.
I think he would.
That's how we called it, so it must be true.
Field goal says it's in. Oh, bit of a dance. Happy. I mean, Brazil, when are they sad? Never. Always happy.
Certainly the same level of energy. I think it's just being put into a different sort of output, really, on the side of FaZe. They're not as loud necessarily as NIP have been or shouty, but they're certainly having a lot of fun between themselves. You know, a little cheeky dance here and there, just keeping the morale high. I think that's always very important, especially when you go 3 rounds down. That's the position that FaZe have been able to fight back from here, don't forget. They went 3 rounds down initially, and then they've slowly but surely been able to claw their way back. Now we sit at a scoreline of 4-3. By no means are FaZe out of this one just yet. They're going to go for the same, well, they've gone for the same operator lineup. I don't know if there's another string to this bow of...
Is there another strat that we don't know about?
Is there something else that you can do with these 5 operators? But what they did in the first round, in the previous round, sorry, worked exceptionally well. The gridlock's a really good tool to try and stop any attackers from pushing on through, because sure, you can take the damage, but you're going to be slowed. It's not nice to walk through those track stingers. Even if you have got the health to afford taking a little bit of damage, you still don't really want to, because you're not at full capability. The smokes that came through as well to deny the sightlines on the plant that was going down, all of these things worked exceptionally well. Something that NIP are maybe missing, apart from Pino now, is going to be a smoke or any real form of denial. Sure, they've got the C4s, but especially losing the Maestro quite early, that smacks of a plant.
That is, Maestro going down means that those cameras, they're stationary. He cannot move them whenever he is dead, and Cyber again carries on that trend of getting these important kills once more onto the Wamai. Psycho, though, in a better position to actually retrade that one off. And another, there goes the glass. Heavy hitters from both teams are down. We'd lose the Maestro, we'd lose the glass now. So it kind of balances itself out. Bullet, though, makes it in favor of FaZe. And Astro, is he aware that someone is inside of Cigar Shop? I don't know. Bullet has to be careful as well, and he will go for the drone. This is better from FaZe, and he will spot him out.
Plenty of drones available here. Psycho going to be forced to draw for the pistol. Doesn't know which way to turn. Gets himself caught out in the crossfire by Astro. Julio now as the sole survivor here on the side of NIP. Pre-fires on through. Manages to gain a frag over onto Bullet. Still in a 1 versus 2 with a minute remaining. He does, however, have intel. Fortunately, the Maestro cameras are pointed in the right direction, and he has got a C4 that he can use from below. That's the situation that he finds himself in now. We've got a nice picture-in-picture so we can see this one coming on out. He doesn't have current intel. That's the biggest problem here. In fact, sorry, he does. He's going to find the kill there over onto Astro, taking him down. The diffuser will be recovered by Cameraman. Pot shots through the floor, not going to be enough. Cameraman likely to get this plant down before Julio is able to progress on up those white stairs. No, instead comes off. Cameraman! He takes him down. He picks up the round for FaZe.
Massive pre-fire. Massive stuff. Wow. Again, FaZe pulling out these rounds that they shouldn't. You have to highlight the Maestro camera as well, which, like I said, with the setup that FaZe are trying to run, they don't have any self-destruction. They don't have any projectiles at range, and it has cost them, well, nearly cost them anyway.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Some of these replays are comical. We got Pino jumping out of a window, getting taken out. We got Hatches getting open, and Cyber dropping on in and finding himself a quick frag. Bullet did a really good job on that kill, I think. That kill onto Pixel was really important there because it was just another thing that NIP then didn't have that power position in. Julio tried his best from below and finally managed to gain that current information to snag himself that C4. The cameraman with the bait and switch. I honestly thought he was going to try and stick it there, but coming off, obviously it worked exceptionally well for him. We are just in a tactical timeout now. There it is.
They can see each other.
That is the flair.
Thing.
That is the flair that we want. That's the passion we want here on the main stage. It is attack timeout here for NIP. As we can see from the round breakdown, things started off very well for them.
They did, yes.
And they have since dropped off.
Yeah, massive stagnate from NIP. Issues upon issues now starting to show from a team that we looked after the first rounds and thought, wow, who's going to beat them? Who? Nobody. Oh, wait, never mind. FaZe have now rocked up with this Gridlock, Twitch, Glaz lineup that, in my mind, still makes me feel uncomfortable, but it's working for them, and I cannot fault them. Very, very reliant on Cyber, though, I think, getting that first kill. If he doesn't win that engagement, then you do kind of start to see weaknesses show, who's going to be man to step up to actually take over that role, which is the only thing FaZe should be worried about. But right now, Cyber, continue in form, getting those kills, nothing to worry about at the moment.
We still haven't seen an Ashe or a Zafir brought here by FaZe. They are sticking this lineup, minus the Glaz. Souls, instead of the Glaz this time, is going to be on the Thatcher. It's usually the operator that he picks onto and locks in first before then 6 picking off. So I guess knowing that they're now going to be going downstairs, knowing that they want that Thatcher because it is available, it does just make a couple of jobs a little bit easier. Going to instead choose to pick onto that. Now, desperate times, desperate measures. We've just seen attack time out there from NIP, and what does Julio pick immediately afterwards? Picks onto the Clash. Julio, famed for his Monty plays. The Monty has been something that, I'm not going to say it's kept NIP in the competition, but it's certainly attested to a lot of their round wins when we think back to the group stage when things weren't going their way. They'd bring out the Monty and that'd be the difference maker. We're seeing a similar thing here now. Clash is as good as Monty as, you know, in terms of what options you've got on the defense. And that's what Julio's going to try and bring.
NIP like their shields, not because it's going to give Julio potential of getting some flashy kills perhaps and some highlight reels, but I think it's more for the information. NIP are a team that rely on that information. You talked about their Monty play. We see them use that in conjunction extremely well with players such as Pino, such as Muzi. Having the Clash is essentially your Monty on defense. You can move out, you can wander around, don't have to worry about getting killed. And Psycho, what a swing! Extremely well timed, and that is because of the information that Julio is supplying. Ollie, it may be a trade, but that's your ace gun. That's a hard breach off the board. NIP have done wonderful in getting that kill.
Well, they can now retreat back a little bit. There's still option to gain entry and to get on in, but you're just going to be left with the good old-fashioned single doorway approach. Cyber, though, going to find another frag over onto Muzi. Taking down the Jaeger there. Souls is trying to lock off from this bakery door. He's maybe got a chance at Julio there. Julio is just facing the wrong way for the time being. A C4 will land from Pino as he takes down Cameraman. As the aggressive push comes on through. Cyber doesn't want to get himself too close to the Clash. He doesn't want to get slowed. Instead, he's just trying to find picks. Looking on over into the bomb site. Takes a good chunk of damage there. This Clash is now going to aggress outside of prep. Souls is going to be there to assist, so there is chance to deal with that Clash, but FaZe just slowing down for a moment.
Yeah, that Clash is going to be the big deciding factor for NIP and Kamikaze. Swings the doorway, bullet goes down. Pino as well playing off the Clash. Information so strong, and Souls yet to get a kill this round and still cannot get a kill. NIP respond well. Ollie, that Clash, you have to highlight it, how strong that is for NIP.
When NIP are down, when they're feeling like they're a little bit low, when they feel like they need to pull something out of nowhere, the shields come out.
The thing is with that statement you said, Ollie, is it is insane how consistent they actually win the rounds with that strategy. Like, we see the Monty be pulled out, and it works. We see the Clash be pulled out, it works. You know, it's a bit of a panic pick that we've kind of talked about with NIP. Yeah, they're up against it, okay, pull out a shield. And it works for them every time. You think at this stage, well, why don't you just play it every round? You know, if you're not losing with it, then just keep playing it. But
I think that's the thing, isn't it? They like to keep it
NIP make it too tough for themselves. That's it. Oh, NIP, why?
Souls this time going to be going from the Glaz, the Thatcher onto the Kali. I've seen Souls do some spectacular things on Kali in recent days.
Weird picks again.
It does come down to strange, but I'm not sure if they're anticipating the clash. Maybe if they're thinking that the clash is going to be there, the Kali is obviously going to do something to, you know, drop that clash shield somewhat. But it isn't to be. There is no clash inside of this round. Instead, we're going to be looking toward reading. NIP trying to find a little bit more than just a one-round lead here.
I like the adaptation from NIP as well. Realizing that FaZe have no intention of bringing projectiles like we've added to. Well, I mean, they do have projectile smokes, but it's not projectiles that are going to really affect the gunfight, per se. You know, smoke covers sightlines for both teams, unless you're a Glaz, of course. Whereas flashes, as you know, pop flash in, easy kill, nades as well. They don't really need a Jaeger. They don't need a Wamai. And that kind of frees them up for another operator. They've went for a Vigil pick, which is a bit of a surprise. Kafe isn't the biggest roam map. We see more, I think, offsite holds than anything. Vigil, I think, is more accustomed to, you know, your villas, your clubhouses as well. Maps that you have a lot of open space with. I don't think Kafe you have too much open space with, so you can get cut off very easily. If it's a personal preference from Psycho, I mean, the K1A is a very, very strong weapon as well. Coming that with the grenades as well. Yeah, I think it's a good pick in that sense, but there could have been another selection. I just don't know what. Anything but the Vigil, really.
We'll have to see how it works here for NIP. As you say, a gun preference is often enough, really. If you're freed up and you don't need to select the Jaeger, you can just go for whatever it is that you fancy. There's certainly enough utility here on the side of NIP. Banshees there, we can see getting pinged on out on the drones. Just a little bit harder to deal with whenever you've not got the Ash or the Zafir. So FaZe just making things a little bit harder for themselves in that regard. Cameraman going to deploy 2 of his track stingers there onto that top floor, and it's going to leave him with none left. Kind of a questionable use there of the track stingers. We kind of thought, are they going to be there to, you know, mask the sound of a plant? Are you going to try and throw one down after you've planted the diffuser or before? And, you know, just try and make a bit of use out of them that way. But instead, just going to try and cut off some sort of roamers that, you know, may or may not be present up on that top floor.
Oh, Psycho slips on past, and the Mistrone from FaZe is not working for them. There's the gun preference, Ollie, like you said, and Psycho running amok against FaZe at 2 versus 5. Here's the Kali inside of red, trying his best to see if he can find anything, but nothing comes off it. NIP starting to storm away with this game, unless Souls and Astro can pull out something that we will take a look back and think that was the moment that changed for FaZe.
They need to do something inside of this 35 seconds. Julio has a nice angle there to work with. Astro will find one onto Kamikaze, but he is going to be looked upon for a lot of these frags. Souls only has the machine pistol here, and it's not going to be the most favourable weapon in this circumstance. Astro, the one that's going to be holding on the diffuser. Souls just pre-firing his way through. Kind of gives the game away just a little bit, but needs to try and get any advantage that he can. Doesn't manage to land his shots, but Julio does. Astro there with the trade. 10 seconds left, a 1 versus 3. It's going to be very difficult for him. Finds himself a triple. It's going to be an ace clutch if he does it, but he's got 4 seconds to do it in. Not going to be enough time. Muzi shuts him down as he moves on through. NIP a match point over on Kafe.
Different kind of gravy. Psycho on the Vigil. Wow, unbelievable stuff, Ollie. You have to give credit to Psycho on that Vigil, being able to slip his way past, hit them where it hurts. And from that stage, NIP had everything to play for. Great advantage. Nice attempt by FaZe, but not enough. 1 round. 1 round away for NIP to close out Kafe.
I think quite rightly so, FaZe have chosen to take their tactical timeout. It's almost too late to take it. There's only 1 round really that stands in between NIP and taking this first map, so makes a lot of sense for FaZe to use it while they can. Need to try and come up with the goods here and change their fortune over on Kafe, because so far I do feel like they've been somewhat limited by that operator selection. It's something that worked in the first couple of rounds that they took it, but since then, it's just seemed a little bit stale. And I know that seems weird to say for something that is so fresh, but I've got to come back, Demo, to the gridlock pick. And the way that the track stingers were used, we saw when Cameraman threw out the track stingers that he threw them out and then jumped into his drone. then what happens? Psycho walks on up to him and takes him out because he's either hit the track stingers, he's either knifed him, he's either shot them, or he's just managed to skirt around them. Now, that doesn't happen as easily with an air jab. An air jab can be placed in a much more difficult position to find. You wouldn't necessarily be droning in such an open location if you had air jabs. You'd be trying to get them on the staircases. You'd be trying to cut off those rotations. I just feel like it's a square peg in a round hole. It didn't really fit.
We see a change. Gridlock is going to be sacked off, and Dokkaebi in her place. Souls. Rough one for him. Ollie, 0 and 8. Don't like. No bashing on players per se, but we have to point to the obvious. If one player isn't performing well, that will cause issues for everyone else, and right now it is.
Yeah, I think especially when Souls has had some really big games inside of the group stage, and it's not that FaZe have relied on him, but they've certainly got here and this far off the back of his merit and the merit of the rest of the team. For Souls to have, you know, a performance like this, I think he's down at around the 10% cost. Bullet as well, down at 20% cost.
10% cost?
It's the low numbers, you know. Kills, objectives, survives, trades. That isn't great.
No, not at all. Souls, when you see a big round out of you, buddy, or else Kafe will be in favor of NIP, and they move on with a map advantage. Villa on the next map as well, which God only knows where that's going to go. So, FaZe up against it. One fatal slip, and you lose the map. How can you deal with this? So, Bullet's doing well, open up castle barricades, creating sightlines, and of course, even though nobody's on those castle barricades, NIP have to kind of play around that, because you don't know who could be repelling at any moment. I think for FaZe Clan, with the strategy that they're trying to employ, they need to look for that first engagement. If they can eliminate the man inside Cigar Shop, which credit to Cyber, he has done that consistently, that will set them up nicely. One difference, though, is we're seeing that clash once again.
We're seeing the clash, and we're seeing it backed up by Kamikaze on the smoke. Early Toxic Babe canisters here, really trying to slow down this push from FaZe. There's no harm in using them this early, because look at what it's done. It's been enough to force FaZe into a pretty much direct opposite push. They're now going to start repelling on this south side. Look to get some pressure maybe on the south window. As we got Bullet down there, he's just going to be playing in and around that piano window, looking to try and get that angle onto Julio. But all this is doing is wasting time.
Phone call gets sent out, and NIP have to answer the call or let it ring out. Bullet does a bit of drone work as well. We'll spot out that Jaeger. Psycho has to be careful. Playing against windows, and especially against a sledge with some nades. Oh, barely dodges that one, but it does create some holes, and now challenges against the sledge. Ups down repel comes in as well as Psycho ready for that. Cyber has that engagement once more and gets slaughtered. Bullet finally gets his kill. Astra is swung in towards Mini. Cyber on low HP, and now it's Muzi and Julio. Look at this aggressive standpoint from Cyber. He had taken White all by himself. Got that engagement. Clash is moving in. Here comes the glass also. Muzi drops to his belly, but look how many FaZe players are around him, and Julio all by himself. Everyone charging at him like a pack of wolves, hungry for their dinner. They will have another round to fight for Ollie. Round number 12 coming up.
Another big round from Cyber on the Twitch, getting himself in those impactful kills that we've often seen.
Playmaker.
The shield effect not coming through there.
Can I call him Neymar?
NIP.
Can I call him Neymar?
Not sure.
Why not?
I don't know who that is. We can call him Cyber because he plays the Twitch and he gains the kills.
Doesn't know Neymar. I'm just unbelievable. Disappointed.
We missed the most important thing inside of that round, and that was the fact that the shield effect is now no longer a thing. FaZe have managed to break that curse of Julio bringing the clash and then just being able to do whatever he would like with it. The push that initially FaZe wanted to do, the clash stopped that in its tracks. And it was really good at doing that, but it just so happened that FaZe had another idea and were then able to go in and cause so much pressure inside of that piano area. And I just don't think that Julio moved off quick enough. Also, something to note, that top floor, it's much more difficult to play a clash effectively on that top floor because of all the angles that you've got to worry about. You've got to worry about the skylight, you've got to worry about multiple crossfires that can be established, whereas down here on this site, it can be a lot better and a lot safer to play the clash. Now, Weirdly, Julio has opted not to play the Clash this time. Instead, they're going to play the Warden, maybe trying to sort of predict some of this smoke play that FaZe are going to be going for. They do still have 2 smokes on Cyber, but it's not as many as we've seen previously that they bring.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of smoke so far for FaZe. I think leaning into a Warden pick is definitely justified. I think with how FaZe have definitely set up their plays, they've relied heavily on the smokes. Warden doesn't see a lot of play, mostly because he is very situational. Meta right now isn't really favored to the Glaz meta. I mean, FaZe, I don't think they got the memo. I don't think they realize that Glaz is not the current operator that you need to choose, but still prevalent in their smoke pickups as well. One thing that I will note that can be really nasty for NIP if Julio is quick enough. Typically, teams will go to the small window and they will fire an ace charge to try and open up that reinforced wall. They will also smoke it, so teams just cannot shoot it off as it gets placed. If that gets thrown onto it, and it also gets smoked, the Warden can put in his glasses and then can see the ace charge clear as day.
There are a couple of opportunities still for the Warden glasses to come on in. We're yet to see any significant use for them. Psycho going to find an opener onto Cyber. That's a big frag. Cyber 11 and 8. He's really had NIP's number inside of this game. Muzi going to double down on it, taking down Bullet. It's going to be the frag grenades lost as well. Things starting off very strongly here for NIP on this kitchen defense.
Astro trying to find an angle in the elevated position. All Psycho needs to do is keep his head down. Don't expose it, as FaZe are up against the NIP. Definitely pulling away from them. I don't know where FaZe are going to look for their options. Cameraman outside of small. Nomaded off the flank, even puts a second one as well. Why? Don't really know. He's double nomaded, still going to both go off at the same time. This cameraman now moves his way around, and perhaps FaZe are adapting to the environment, rotating over towards Restaurant and VIP and trying their best to pull back this round, which Ollie is just looking dire by the second. Cameraman has an engagement in towards Kochek, but surely you would expect the refrag to come in for NIP if it does happen. They have numerous players set up ready for this attack from FaZe. 50 seconds on the clock. Can FaZe Clan pull off a miracle?
There's a lot of work to do here for FaZe. Astro's going to make his way on in. No one really aware of him. Say it again. Kamikaze's very much aware of him as he hits him with the old headshot. The SMG-11 at range working out for him there. Cameraman now getting himself into an engagement. Souls falls as well. It's all down to Cameraman. NIP surely going to take this map, but he has something to say about it. Manages to take down Muzi. He's only got 4 left to go, but he's got 25 seconds to do it in. It's going to be a long old road here for Cameraman. 20 seconds tick on by. He's now left challenging a different angle. All the players on the side of NIP know exactly where he's going to be coming from. It's going to be Psycho to find the last kill. NIP there taking Kafe.
Massive performance from NIP. Psycho especially. Big game for him. Enough to seal FaZe on Kafe. A 1-map advantage is always going to do well for NIP. They have that confidence. They have that momentum. Can it see them through the villa, should I say, sorry?
They started off Kafe exceptionally strong. A little bit shaky in the middle. Almost a classic NIP game. You know, coming out of the gate sprinting. There's a little bit of a wobble in the mid-game. Finishing very strong there. We're going to throw you over to the experts. They're going to break this one down for you.
Thanks so much, Ollie and Demo. And yeah, we talked about an all-out war here between our 2 Brazilian squads, and we have gotten it delivered fresh to us here in the arena. NIP taking map number 1, Kafe Dostoyevsky, only by the skin of their teeth, but still, NIP victorious.
They are indeed, and it started off with a very strong opening, I have to say. 3 consecutive rounds on their attack right here on Kafe. You're like, okay, that is a very solid start. And they managed to eventually bring it up to a 4-2, so not really carrying that momentum all the way across. But that doesn't matter in that end. You still have the 4-2 half on the map. That is pretty defense-sided overall. They were very happy with that. FaZe fought valiantly, though. They were able to make it quite close. But NIP, I think, on the back of those first 3 rounds, are able to bring it into a lead for them right now.
It was a difference of a couple of players. It was a couple of players couldn't quite show up on FaZe there. We saw by the end, Souls and Bullet, both of them had struggled throughout the game. They weren't quite able to dig themselves into the match itself. And NIP, it wasn't that anyone was having too massive and extravagant sort of game. You saw positives across the board, but because every single player was able to be where they needed to be and able to do what they needed to do, they had, in effect, 2 extra little moving cogs that were that little bit sharper. That's why they were able to get it. But I still think for how they got themselves to the end of the game phase, from being off to a disadvantage at the start, and with 2 players struggling, shows that this is just the start of a series.
I'm starting to wonder how we continue on with this series because, as I was saying, it's 3 players really on FaZe that were showing up in this very first map, and yet even with that, it barely ended, almost went to OT. So we still don't know how to call this one. I think it would be pretty ridiculous for anybody to sit here and call it very clearly.
I think important to note is the entry kills. It's often something we look at here. 9 of them went to NIP, only 3 of them went to FaZe. So given the fact that FaZe still managed to bring it back as close as they did, is going to be very impressive here. And as you said, 3 men showing up on the side of FaZe, but Psycho 15 on 7 throughout that one.
You have to give credit to him, and that's it, is that when it comes down to it, it's a lot of that heat. It's a lot of that intensity. We always knew it was going to be a full team versus a full team, and one of them just didn't have their full team showing up, and that's sort of where it boils down to.
My friends, you talk about heat and intensity. We got Glass that was being played in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, excuse me, by the way, for kind of chilling on here, but our good friend Glass was definitely chilling in this game. It was chill, relaxed through the whole game. Unusual. I mean, look.
The Milos stuff.
It's not very comfortable, I have to say.
The floor's very slippy.
Yeah, the floor is quite slippy. I'm going to stand, you know.
Quite cozy here. I'm not going to lie. Much like myself, Glass was having a field day on Kafe Dostoyevsky. And you know what? I really think that he's been hiding for too long. How long have we been saying? What is it? Since I want to say the November Major. We've been saying, teams are coming in with Glass meta, maybe see more of it.
I think since the ADS change, right?
It was the ADS change.
Yeah.
It sort of went a little bit back, not as scary as it once was. I think it was also sort of helped by the limitation of Capital gone, which is a big operator for FaZe. It's a big play, and it was a great removal from NIP because it limits that smoke game that they love so much, which Glass does offer on those situations. They also are pretty adept with the Kali. Usually we've seen that played by them before, so we know that they're good with that sort of heavy-hitting long-range scope. It just couldn't quite get themselves in on this time.
It was, we were watching the game upstairs with like Ace and Dez, and at some point we were like, you know, why are you peeking? Why are you taking that gunfight? So I was like, there is a decision tree that we're following here. It is, can you win that gunfight? And there's 2 options. It's yes or no. If you go yes, then it's like take it, and if it's no, you still take it and try and make it happen. And sometimes it did happen. Sometimes they went into these gunfights, they're like, you're not allowed to win that. But they do. And that is the beauty of this game, the aggression has been brought. It's yes, exactly.
Beauty and the terrifying thing.
Welcome to Brazil, gentlemen and lady, in this case. There you go.
Welcome.
It's a you know, welcome to Vietnam, welcome to Estalia, as some would say, also as a reference. There it is, 7-5 for NIP on Kafe Dostoyevsky. Only map number 1. You can see the players that are really showing up. Some changes need to happen, and a refresh going into Villa.
I mean, you look at Bullet and Souls there, and the fact that they can get 1 round away from OT, and you have 2 players that it's not that they were just not expected to put bodies down, it's that they were barely able to have an effect on the game. The 25% cost across the board, that's, you know, 3/4 of the rounds they didn't have an impact on. And they were still able as a team to get themselves to a 7-5. That's what, you know, you should be concerned about as NIP, is even though we were on a full 5, we still couldn't take it out with that much solidity.
The average cost on NIP is 72%, and the average cost on FaZe is 47%. It's a big difference for these 2 teams, and such a big difference that you wouldn't expect this to be a 7-5 scoreline. Let's just put it up like that. Also, something important to know, only 2 plants overall. Like, What's happening?
Can you get kill? Yes.
Yes.
No.
Okay, you still go
anyway.
for it.
That's
There's
the
no need
chart.
to go for these plans. That's the chart here. It's like it's really fun because throughout SI we've been seeing many of these games. For example, Brede with like 17 plans, for example. Only 2 in this entire game. 1 on NIP and Kamikaze, 1 on Astra on FaZe. That's it. That's the plans we've had so far. Maybe we'll see more next map, but
You can't keep it up this way, or else Bullet and Souls will have to change that 1 for a 0 at the end of their names, and that's not what we're looking for at the end of this game. That is one map. We're preparing ourselves for map 2, Villa. Highly technical map, that is for sure. Any advantage you see after this first map,
I mean, no, because I think that it's not really a matter of advantages coming in. I think they're both well aware of what they need to do. As we've just seen, it can go all the way regardless. It's down to who's got more fire in them, and I don't think that there's a set advantage. I think it's just going to be a hell of a game.
NIP currently has all 5 players showing up. FaZe is still struggling with that. If they can continue that trend, if they are going to stay here and show up, then maybe they're going to be able to elevate themselves again into this map with a good advantage.
Thanks so much, my friends. Hap M. That is all here from the analyst desk. It is time to toss it back to our casters. Demo and XR Troika will take us through this epopee, as they say here in France. It is NIP versus FaZe Clan. We're going to beautiful Tuscany. Enjoy on Villa.
Welcome back here to the caster desk. We are going to be jumping into this one in just a couple of moments. We have Villa coming up here as the second map inside of this best of 3 series, NIP versus FaZe. Demo, Kafe going pretty convincingly at times over toward NIP. A lack of consistency on the side of FaZe really starting to show through. It's a comment we've made before. How's that going to fare us going into Villa?
Villa is a bit of a scrappy map. We see a lot of teams go here, and it usually is quite heavy as we surely get into those later stage of the round. You just have no idea who's going to be able to take it, so my guess is as good as anyone. I've no idea what's going to happen.
I think that's what makes this one very exciting, is we've got a good LATAM derby, 2 teams that we've seen play multiple times in the past. We now get to watch them on a big stage inside of a best of 3, and with all that passion and all of that energy that's sort of bubbling over on the stage. We've seen some pretty animated players up until this point. We've got the social vote there for you on the screen. Still 67% for NIP, in and around the same numbers that we saw for Kafe, as we're ready to throw on into this map.
So, the last time both of these teams played each other, it was on Villa. NIP 8-6 the victory. So if that's anything to go off, again, it's going to be a scrappy game. It's going to go to overtime, and you just have no idea who's going to win. I know me and you were talking, and we were thinking NIP looked, I think, the better team on Kafe. Again, they make it very difficult for themselves, but still looked pretty good.
That's a target ban if ever I've seen one. An Iana ban. Not very often that we see
Who's that targeted
an
to?
Iana
That's
ban
the question.
at all. FaZe responding there with a Thatcher ban of their own.
It's a bit weird to see an Iana ban. An operator that really only comes out if teams don't have Ashe or Sophia, for example. That's whenever we see her be picked up inside of maps. So, see it being banned away. A little bit strange, but I suppose in terms of what map we're on, Iana very, very strong in this one. Massive map. Villa, the biggest map in the pool. You have unlimited drones. It is something that you would probably like to have if you could on your side. So yeah, I kind of do get the thought process behind it. Is it going to hinder FaZe that much? I don't know.
I would imagine that there's ways and means of getting around an Iana ban. It seems incredibly specific. I don't think that we've got all too many Iana bans to really go off there. The percentage is going to be fairly low. It does give a little bit more option over toward these attackers. I think more notably maybe that Maverick's actually open. We saw and we have seen teams struggle quite greatly when they don't have that option for a Maverick, a nice little easy piece of hard breach utility to use. There's a lot of the walls on Villa that you're looking to get open, a lot of the key walls, they can be Mavericked. You know, you think as long as you've got master bedroom control, you can use the Maverick blowtorch on that. It's a little bit riskier than you would maybe like. Hibana can be an option there. Vault wall as well is another one that I think of if you've got sufficient 90 control. We're sat here talking about hard breaches, Demo.
Oh, okay, right.
There's not a single hard breacher on the lineup, and what have we got?
But we still have some form of hard breach. We have Souls on the Capital with the hard breach, something that was banned away from FaZe inside of Kafe, being let free on Villa, straight away, bang, it's been picked.
Right, so the last time that I remember watching Astro play
don't
Amaru.
remind me, don't remind me.
I'm going to remind you, I'm going to remind everybody at home. The last time we saw Astro play Amaru on Villa, let me talk you through it. The objective is to get up 90 hatch. At least that's what it seems. Now, previously when we've seen it, we actually saw Astro get a quad kill. Now, I'm not suggesting that that's going to happen here and now.
It was against Cyclops.
He didn't even make it up the hatch. We didn't actually get to see this Amaru strat through to fruition. We just got a glimpse of what to expect here.
What I would recommend everyone does is quickly go and scan through the FaZe Cyclops game until you see the round that Astro locks in an Amaru and just watch it, okay? Then come back, okay? Come back to us and you'll see what he does. I don't know if he's going to be able to get away with the same thing he did last time whenever we seen him on the Amaru and Villa, mostly because it's against NIP. It's not against Cyclops. NIP are a well-drilled team, and if they fall for something as foolish as the Amaru, I would be very, very surprised. If they do, Ollie, I'll shave your beard.
That doesn't work. That's not a fair for you.
Oh.
That's not how these things go. Nade kill going to open up things for Cyber. Manages to take down Julio. He's actually got himself down to the bottom of East Stairs. We did get a glimpse there of Astro droning out Bicycle as well. He's already got himself in and is going to be taking out that default camera just through the hatch for the time being. Now, Kamikaze has probably seen or at least heard that and is maybe going to know what to expect. Astro's still going to be lying in wait downstairs as there are players from NIP that are now trying to scurry their way back to the site. This Bullet's going to make his way up the astronomy stairs. And the pressure and the calls really from NIP are that, you know, we've maybe lost the roam game a little bit here. We need to get ourselves back. We're halfway through the round now, and we can just retreat to these power positions.
Very slow approach from FaZe as well. Just taking their time, making sure the information and the drone work is being fed through well. Still don't know how they're going to utilize this Amaru from Astro. A nade kill fires in. Cyber continuing that form, and Bullet easily dispatches Kamikaze. FaZe with this wacky setup, they haven't used their Amaru yet. We've seen no utility from the Capital. The hard breach gadget's still there, but they will struggle to open up any of the walls. And there goes Cameraman and Cyber with a shotgun as well. Hold on a minute, did we just see a sledge shotgun? We did! What?
Why bring Buck when you can bring Sledge, bring the shotgun, and bring 2 nades? Cyber got 2 nade kills in that round. 2 nades of Sledge, 2 nade kills, milking every last drop out of that operator. And he's gone, you know what, I quite liked Buck when Buck had nades, so I'm just going to sort of make my own. It's like a bit of a DIY. That is honestly, Demo, that's when you're in the store and you say, I really want this. You say, I really want Buck with nades. We've got Buck with nades at home. And it's Sledge with a shotgun and nades. Yep. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah. What a weird round. What a weird round. Weird setup. Weird kind of attacking arrangement of operators. You know, we've got an Amaru. We have the only hard breacher being a Capital with the hard breach gadget. We have a Sledge with shotgun. I don't know. I don't know what I've witnessed.
We've witnessed a round win
stumped.
To FaZe.
I'm stumped. I'm annoyed at myself that I don't know what's happening.
It's quite difficult to keep up with, I'm going to be honest with you. Cyber is still rocking that Sledge shotgun pick.
Did he do anything?
Astro didn't really show us what that Amaru was all about.
Again? Was that where he was? Back to his old ways?
He didn't really show us what the Amaru was all about there inside of that round. He's going to have picked off this time onto the IQ.
He's got the shotty again.
The shot, I'm telling you, it's Buck with nades at home.
This is not the future. Do not start.
That is the new Sledge meta loadout right there. You're seeing it for the first time here. Astro picking onto the IQ here. That is something that I'm begging a bit of a question with. We're not seeing any Valk. We're not seeing any Echo. There's no significant reason really here to come and bring out this IQ. Sure, there's a lot of electronics that you can find, but you know, if it had played the G8, then we would have confirmed every suspicion, and it would have been that just Astro likes to play with the G8. That's why I picked Amaru. But he's not. He's picked the Commando.
Perhaps out of fear that there could be a potential Echo, could be a potential Valkyrie. You never know. With 6 picks still being a thing, it's always something that you have to worry about. Cyber looking for these nades once again and misses out on a kill onto Julio. Takes a bit of shrapnel damage, but he's fine. And Psycho is right behind Cyber. Cyber's walked right past him, but Psycho is not aggressing onto that sledge. Another nade will miss, and that's 2 of them gone. Oh my word, ring around the rosy, and Psycho, he has no idea how unfortunate he is. He's going to walk in, turn around, no! Psycho! Oh, dearie me. Astro
was in his drone. He was in his drone at that moment in time. He's going to start to re-drone now as a sixth sense was all it took for him to come on off. Cyber with the shotgun making it work. Draws for the secondary. He's going to be faced with a challenge here at the top of Statuary. Pino does find a C4 kill over onto Bullet. This round was really hanging in the balance here, and that's going to shift it. Muzi taking down Cyber. That's going to now level things up here. Removes a large force of the attack. Cyber been relied upon for so many kills so far from this FaZe roster. Everything just going to take a moment to breathe. Muzi now going to see some shots fired on in. There's a Dokkaebi call that's just rung out as well. FaZe trying to find picks on windows now. It looks like they're faltering a little bit.
FaZe, where do they go? They've lost Cyber, lost that sledge, which has been pushing them in with that shotgun. Cameraman has all our phone calls, has 2 smokes available. Muzi being droned out, has to flee. Oh, perhaps a potential camera hack. Not going to really help them that much. There is no Valkyrie cameras. Maestro's been banned as well, so there isn't really anything that I think FaZe would really gain from that. Perhaps a default cam isn't going to have anything. Probably not. So it's not the greatest position for FaZe to be in. It looks as if they don't know really where to go. Soul's been sat outside this window for ages now. Finally takes the plunge and jumps in, and right back out as somebody else jumps in at the same time. A switch of positions, and Souls is now back in and gets killed straight away, and Muzi finds the second. NIP all over FaZe, and Ollie, I just don't know what I'm witnessing. This is one of the strangest rounds of Siege I will ever see.
NIP keeping focus though. That's the key thing to take away from there. It was really strange from FaZe Clan's perspective, partly because of the lineup that they're running. They really expected the Valkyrie inside of that round, I think. You can see that with the Dokkaebi and the IQ pick. They're 2 things that you're going to try and bring if you think that the enemy team's going to have a lot of information. That kill was the thing that set it all off. That was where we started on this circus of a round. Cyber then able to gain a frag, but immediately getting traded on out. The hold was good from NIP, and they were able to secure some really crucial kills there. They didn't over-aggress. Most of the kills here that we're seeing are actually kills that are being gained by NIP staying relatively still, staying relatively static, and just letting FaZe Clan push on through. FaZe had a period of time inside of that round where they were looking for so many picks through windows, and it just wasn't something that NIP were giving up.
NIP very happy to get that round as well. I think it's because they were down 2 men and pulling out 3 versus 5. Great to see. Pino and Muzi, that duo once again, Ollie. Those 2 players this event have been phenomenal for NIP. And phenomenal, I think, is an understatement. Who's better? How can you pick who's better between both of them? Is it possible?
It's certainly very difficult to pin anybody down. Not really. It genuinely comes down to the day.
It would be interesting to see Pino and Muzi in separate teams. Wonder how, like, it would be just an interesting theory, wouldn't it? It's like a social experiment. How would one get on without the other?
It's almost like when the players...
It's like a wife swap.
Well, it's like when the players are joining the lobby and the teams are a little bit mixed up because they've not side-swapped yet, and you look down and you think, that'd be a deadly roster. It's just a sort of mixture of 2 teams.
I wonder if they come as a package. You get one, you get the other as well. Who knows? Scary duo still inside of this competition, and they're hoping to lift their first trophy with NIP. FaZe, how are you going to play this one? Cyber with another nade, misses this time around, and Astro on the Amaru once more. Lion comes into the fray of things. FaZe just mixing it up, and there goes the Amaru straight through 90 window, hunting for the kills, has the J in hand, and that thing packs a punch, but no, Muzi with the wall buying is enough to shut Astro out of this round. Bullet is there with the refrag, but the damage has been done. Those first 2 kills for NIP is more than enough to give them that confidence.
Bullet now trying to search out this kill over onto Psycho. Julio actually going to take a chunk of damage, but manages to take down Cyber in the engagement. Bullet's now opened the line of sight, but he wasn't aware of Pino coming in behind. Souls left in the 1 versus 4. There's a lot of time left inside of this round for him to be on his own, as the Amaru strat didn't work from FaZe. If Astro's going to be getting himself in like that, he needs current information, something that he's quickly able to pounce upon. But he just wasn't able to find Muzi behind that bar, and that's something that's really slowed down that push. When your entire push hinges on getting that opening kill and that early advantage, and you lose out that engagement, it's no real surprise to see Souls in the position that he's in here. He's got a lot of time to work with, but he's got to try and break these engagements down. He has the diffuser. It's just a long, old, difficult road.
It is. A bumpy one at that as well. So much utility still up for NIP. You have even a Pocket Banshee for some reason is sitting with Pino, and he's still out and about looking for these kills. But like you said, Ollie, for Souls, is this going to be a round that he could win? I would say probably not. I'm feeling pretty confident with that one. I think it's just too much to ask for in a 1 versus 4 with no foothold inside of the building. Is, you know, still, you have to try and get in towards the bedroom, and just time always against you as an attacker. It's just not going to work out. It's just curious to see how he's going to die, really, Ollie.
I mean, that's it, isn't it? It's almost like how he's going to meet his end, because it is inevitably going to come here. He's getting peeked from just about every angle, managing to deal a bit of chip damage, but taking some in return. Now the Toxic Babes come out. It's going to make things increasingly more difficult. You just got to hope that during this time, he and his team have been able to have a good chat about how they are going to move forward in these rounds. The rush strat really not paying and working out for them. He finds 1 kill, but it is likely to be impactless. As 1 second ticks on by, it's going to be very unlikely that he does anything there. NIP going to take round number 3. As FaZe's rush strategy not really paying off for them. And the guys are giving it large from behind the screens.
NIP, extremely vocal. I don't know how much is actually picked up from our headsets. I can hear it from mine, but I don't know what the mic picks up.
It's loud enough that I can hear it through the headset.
Somebody's doing a Michael Jackson impression there with a bit of a hee-hee, and I don't know. It's a bit mad here between these two LATAM sides, and NIP definitely giving it the big one, which I suppose is rightfully so. They're leading, they have that confidence, they are up 1 map to 0. FaZe, this wacky playstyle, pushing it too hard. It's not going to work, like, especially on Villa. Villa is one of the most strat-heavy maps that we have in the pool. You have to bring a certain selection of operators to make things happen. FaZe don't care. They're still not running a hard breach. This isn't Coastline.
It's wild to see, isn't it, really, that the hard breach hasn't... It's not featured in any one of these rounds. Sure, we're entering round number 4 now, so you know we've seen over half of
if
what
not
FaZe
now, they never
attack. Well, that's it. They're not going to bring the hard breach now. I think they've made that abundantly clear. Now, the Thatcher ban, that's not enough to not bring the hard breach. There's no real reason that's enough to not bring the hard breacher here.
Haven't seen Capitao get any value. I haven't seen really any bolts from him be used to great effect. At that stage, you have to question, okay, why are you bringing the Capitao if it's getting no screen time? Utility isn't getting used. 9 times out of 10, Souls has just sat there, left in a 1 versus 4 with nothing to go off. So FaZe, how do we take this round? So Cameraman is off the shotgun. He's not bringing that with a sledge. Cyber, instead, he's actually going to be picking up that buck now. So it's good to see Cameraman has a bit of sanity behind him and doesn't decide to bring the shotgun, whereas Cyber, he's also brought a gun, plus the underbarrel. You get 2 for 1. If only he had brought this before, Ollie.
This is the store-bought book. This is the legit, 100% authentic, comes with a certificate. Let's see what Cyber's able to do with it. In fact, he does take a chunk of damage there. As I'm not even sure he knows where that came from, but you can see the traces coming out the window. It's not something that he wants to try and challenge onto. Instead, just going to choose to rotate on off. FaZe struggling for that entry. They're struggling for that sort of big impact. And, you know, when you're dealing with this sort of a take, when you're trying to take onto that top floor to attack onto Kitchen, the hard breach is something that just becomes so crucial.
It is.
And we've got like really really budget thermite, really, in the secondary hard breach tool. That
we've got thermite at home. Oh wait, never mind. It's a hard breach gadget.
It really is. It's not ideal. We're going to see a C4 toss out there. Shots connecting, but Cyber not managing to land the finishing blow. There's so much intel here. I'm sure once he starts opening the floor, there's going to be opportunity for FaZe to start doing something.
I mean, they have the upstairs control, and that is usually a good position to be in if you are an attacking side. Just how well can they execute onto the bomb? And, well, with no kills as of yet in their favor, things are not looking good for them. Cyber's been down, but can get picked up quite easily. And Muzi just tiptoeing away. Is he aware that somebody is going to be lurking behind him? Sweeping in, and Muzi actually takes that engagement, but Julio the backup. Great tag team action from the two NIP players, and now FaZe, they've been stunned. Another down has came out from them, and now it's a 3 versus 5. FaZe slowly losing control of this round, and they're being forced to move in to a position they don't want to be. They're in a bottleneck, they're in a choke point. NIP, can they capitalize on this? Cyber doesn't want to move an inch. He's holding on to that China door as much as he can, and now slowly creeps his way in through the bomb site. Astro has a great kill, and he can pick up the diffuser from this position. Astro has to try and secure this plant. Cyber covering, and so is Bullet. Where NIP? Where is the answer? None of them are jumping onto this. Oh, never mind. Kamikaze lurking in the bike storage has that kill, and Astro will go for the defuse, but it's not going to be enough. NIP flood the bomb site for their retake. Great round for NIP, playing it slow, cool, calm, and it works for them.
You can feel the energy rising every round that NIP are able to get here. No surprise that we see a tactical timeout from FaZe coming in at this moment in time. They have now seen pretty much every bomb site that they're going to expect to see. We're moving into round number 5. Now's a good time to try and get their heads together, give themselves a bit of a wobble. There's still potential to come out of this at a 3-3 split. FaZe are playing very unpredictably at the moment. We're seeing that demonstrated in their operator choices, even the weapon choices, you know, Cyber with the shotgun. And you can't really fault him because it's working to a point. You know, he's making the frag grenades pay on the sledge, but aside from that, we're not seeing a significant contribution if we look toward the scoreboard. Again, we're seeing the same people struggle here as that struggled over on Villa. And FaZe need to start winning some gunfights because at the moment, we've got 2 players on 1 kill and 2 players on 2 kills. Cyber, the only player that's consistently getting out there and grabbing a couple of frags, he's sat there on 4. At a scoreline of 3-1, it is just not going to be good enough.
Struggling, I think, for that opening kill department, isn't it? They're getting kills, but it's too slow. NIP have all the control in the world. I think their roam game has been quick, but not too quick. I think delivered decisively with some of their lineups. So overall, NIP, dominant on Villa. Keep in mind, though, it's still only the first half, and if anything from Parabellum and G2 have taught us, first half is one story, second half is a completely different one.
The thing that I worry about for here on Villa is we've seen NIP come back when they do start losing attacking rounds by being able to lean into that Monty. And that the Monty effect, the shield effect, the Julio effect, whatever it is that you want to call it, is something that will work here on Villa. Monty is a really good operator to bring on Villa, and I think that is likely going to carry NIP through if the rounds continue to go in this fashion while FaZe are on the attack. They need to be able to come away with at least another 1 here to give themselves a fighting chance of staying in this thing. Finally, Demo, we're seeing some more standards, some more operator bans that we would like to see. Some more operator picks, sorry.
Still
that we
no
would
hard
like
breach.
To see. Still no hard breach, but we do have a Nomad. We do have a Zafir. So we're getting there.
I haven't even seen the hard breach gadget used yet. Like, they may have a hard breach gadget, but they're playing it as if they don't have a hard breach, full stop. Villa, sure, might not be like the most destructible map in terms of reinforcements, but there is still key areas you need to have open. If you look at this attack, Vault Wall is a necessity. You look at Statue, Bedroom Wall is a necessity. Down towards Laundry, the Laundry Wall, necessity. All of these things you need to have in your control.
I'm worried about this. Bullet is threatening with the Ash Launcher There's a Nomad on its way.
Oh dear.
This is going to be a rush. It's all coming through, but no, it gets shut down. Psycho. Pino has a pre-placed C4 there, picks himself up too. Astro does something to try and grab this man count back, but it is not going to be enough. We've not even seen 50 seconds, and it's a 3 versus 1 in favor of NIP. Astro, he may have himself in the site, he may have the diffuser, and he may have a triple kill, but he's going to have to do a whole heap more. I'm surprised there that Psycho's not readjusted, because he surely has intel as to where Astro is there. Doubt that we're going to see a plant attempted just as of yet. Muzi and Julio don't really want to move here. They're both just backing each other up, guaranteeing that they're going to be able to get this kill down as a trade if required. The plant is now being attempted. Now is the time for NIP to move. Julio comes through with a C4. It's going to hit as well! The long throw there from Julio is enough to lock out that round. A rush has been thwarted there by NIP.
A great toss of the hot potato, and it works for NIP. FaZe, do they think they're playing Coastline? At this stage, Ollie, I think they might. What they have tried to attempt, I've never seen. And there's probably a good reason why I've never seen that. Because it doesn't work. You cannot rush into study if you do not have the control. Pino, how easy was that for him? Lines up the C4.
Bomb located by attackers.
One player on study window would have given you all the information you need that you cannot do that. You didn't need much, you just needed something. Some pressure below, some shots being fired through the floor, anything to stop that player on the top main stairs from doing what they have done. NIP have read that like a book, they've been able to come away with a round, puts them at 4-1 now. The momentum is all in their favor. You can just see how fired up everybody is.
I don't think they expected to have that easy of a round. Like, they couldn't believe what FaZe just tried to pull
It's
off.
like Christmas. It's Christmas morning.
FaZe now, another operator to add to their played list. We're seeing Ying come in. What's that going to do for them now? I don't know where to look for FaZe. They are struggling big time in the kill department. Their strategies are very questionable. NIP, they're being gifted rounds. This should not be as easy of a contest as what it has been for NIP. This was a map that we thought this favors both teams. This is going to be a dogfight. This is going to be scrappy, that Brazilian type of play. It hasn't been that.
FaZe is still trying to find out what works here, and it's getting a little bit too little too late, because this is round number 6. This is the last round that they're going to be attacking. Sure, they could still come away with a 4-2, but even at that point, they've not been challenging in these gunfights. These rounds, they've not been that close, Demo. You know, often we can talk about how a scoreline doesn't represent the siege we're seeing. This scoreline really does. These rounds have been decisively going over toward NIP. And it's showing. FaZe look like they're lacking a little bit of confidence. They're trying these new and wacky things. Cyber going to get himself taken down there and killed. Julio, it's a freebie for him. He's just playing not even aggressively onto that master bedroom. He's just keeping an eye on the window.
It's too easy for NIP. Way too easy. FaZe just losing players again. The Ying has been forced and it's been shut down. Bullet has a goo mine in his foot and he's still just walking around aimlessly. Is Muzi aware that he's right beside him? Perhaps this is going to be an engagement to watch, but no, Muzi turns away at the wrong time. Bullet salvages something for FaZe, but is it going to be enough? He's sanctioned off by himself. Nobody near him. The other two players from FaZe are outside of bedroom balcony, and they're relying very heavily on Bullet performing big for them. Bullet is aware that there is still one more player lurking, but he's not aware that it's a 90 rotate from Pino. Bullet gone. Last two remaining players, Astro and Souls. Astro trying his best on this Sophia to find these kills, but NIP are ready for them. Souls does eliminate Kamikaze, and it is a 2 versus 3. This is doable, but it's going to be tough. Extremely tough for FaZe.
Probably one of the more favourable situations that we've found FaZe in up until this point. That's going to make it a little bit better as Souls goes massive. He's on a triple kill for this round. Those 2 quick kills possibly going to be enough here for a 4-2 split. It all really lands in the hands of Psycho. He's got to go massive here. He's going to be able to find the frag, but it is a second too late. Takes down Souls, still inside of this post plant. Astro now just needs to play this one smart, get himself into a position where he can try and keep a crossfire. Psycho aggressively pushing on up, has the opportunity to start baiting out onto this diffuser, but isn't working off too much intel. Doesn't know if the player is inside a closet or inside a showers. It's going to be a head-to-head engagement. Someone's going to have to pre-fire this one. Who's going to win the engagement? It's going to be Astro FaZe. They salvage what has been a quite weird attacking FaZe, coming out as a 4-2 split here on Villa.
Individual plays from Souls is enough to see FaZe through with another round, and they should be quite fortunate that they've even got these 2 rounds. NIP, given these 1v1 engagements over to FaZe, not what we expect. Honestly, for FaZe, they were lucky enough to get down that diffuser as well. It was, what, about 0.5 seconds, and then straight away, we seen the kill win from Psycho. But FaZe, somehow, some way, pull off another round. So there's going to be a 4 versus 2 split. So a little more favorable for them compared to a 5-1. Usually if we see a 5-1 in Villa, Ollie, shut up shop, go home. We know that's gonna happen. So it is definitely doable for FaZe, but they need to have a massive half.
A 4-2 split isn't the end of the world here on Villa. It's just the way that the 4-2 split has been achieved. NIP have been so dominant in the rounds that they've won. That was the closest round that we've seen by far, and it still came down to a 1 versus 1 for FaZe to win it out in the end. If you think back to round number 1, it was super scrappy. That was the first round that FaZe won on their attacks. It was very scrappy stuff. It wasn't anything, you know, repeatable, and that was demonstrated by the fact that it took them all the way until round number 6 then to win their next attack. Now things change. We switch on up. It's FaZe's turn to defend here on Villa. NIP are going to be taking things fairly standardly, as they
very
have.
Aggressive, isn't it, lineup? Look at that.
It's aggressive. It's kind of typical NIP for Villa, honestly. They've got the Jackal, they've got the Lion. That roam game is going to be shut down. And more importantly, they've finally brought Hibana. It's taken to round 7 demo for us to see a Hibana here, but it's going to be massive. These off-site holds, these reinforcements that you see deployed, you know, off-site, we've got a big extension here into Trophy and Statuary. That's something that you can just deal with a lot more easily if you have that Hibana.
NIP, I think perhaps prepping for the roam game from FaZe, like you mentioned, Jackal, Lion being there, and Valkyrie camera, and Psycho still finds the kill. I cannot wait to see the replay on that one, because that would have been a great kill to watch. Psycho actually very lucky to get away with that one, and oh, look at the reaction straight over to the window and lands that headshot. Great stuff from Psycho, and that gives NIP that lead. And Ollie, now we're into NIP and their attacks. Time is always going to be against them, and that opening kill always does them favors.
It really does. They've been able to actually gain a bit of control there off the back of it as well. It's removed some of the presence inside of Master Bedroom. Pino can now work this vertical angle from Library upstairs into the corridor that is just outside of games. Still somebody playing on the main stairs. That's going to be stunned out now. Is Cyber just going to get caught out? I'm sure he could have seen his head there, but Psycho going to pick up the second kill in the round, putting himself on a double. Low health or not, that is not going to matter. Astro aggressively pushing into Study. It's a strange position to take up here, really, Demo, when you consider that they're going up against a 5 versus 3.
The question is do they know he's here? And now they will, as Astro's been spotted out and has to scurry away, but wins that engagement against Psycho. The battle of the long angles comes to an end now. And Astro, in a good spot, has that control of Study. And obviously for NIP, they're going to be a little bit worrisome as they try and challenge that the next time. Muzi on his old antics again, Ollie. Solo pushing away, looking for these picks to try and upset FaZe. Oh, Muzi with the fadeaway has to try and fall back as he knows he's getting pressured. Bullet actually gets scanned out by the EE1D. But nobody is there to aggress onto. Instead, Muzi has rotated to join that main force of NIP. And once again, Ollie, FaZe Clan up against the NIP in a great position.
Pressure firmly on here. Bullet has a chance to make a difference, but he's going to have to deal with the player on the upside down repel. Souls is going to fall on it in the side. Muzi comes in with the final frag. Big round for NIP to start off their account here on the attack. I am really Really looking forward to seeing the kill that Muzi got there, because the C4 got tossed out at the same time. I'm just wondering if that C4 got shot out midair and then he was able to get the kill.
We'll have to see. Hopefully with the replay package coming in, of course highlighting that first kill initially as well from Psycho. Great stuff from him in the 2x. I mean, even lucky to get this kill as well. Ooh, slow-mo and everything for us to take a look at. Obviously, Astro with the refrag. Here we go. Oh, picks it out midair and still gets the shot. Different kettle of fish over in Brazil. What a hit.
I had an inkling. I just had a little tiny inkling there that was going to be something a little bit special from Muzi, and it was. Such great skill displayed there. NIP one round away from a match point. Julio. It's time, Demo. It's the Monty effect.
They're not even panicking as well. This is a new NIP strategy.
But this is when it becomes almost more scary, because the advantage isn't with your opponent. The advantage is well and truly with NIP. Now you bring out the Monty. Terrifying stuff.
One thing as well, they've sacked off the Habana. Don't need it. Bring in the Maverick. I know that you mentioned that Maverick in on this map is temperamental at times because it's a little bit awkward and you get picked off.
Depends where you're doing it.
It's weird for Villa. It's risky. It's not like your standard run-of-the-mill kind of clubhouse where it's very easy to Maverick. It is difficult. One thing that we have to highlight from NIP is their game against Oxygen. They played on Villa. Oxygen had everything set up. The strategy's working for them. NIP just didn't know what to do against some of the setups. Threw the strat book out the window, and they sheerly played on a Monty with information, supplying that to the entries, and it worked. I wonder if we're going to see that from NIP.
Not sure exactly what Cameraman is doing inside of the basement, but players on both sides are being chunked down. Pino's lost a great deal of his health, as has Cyber and Cameraman. The first frag coming in onto Pino.
Quad room game again?
He's obviously...
Wait, 5 of them? Nobody's in the bomb site.
I mean, they've got plenty of C4s between them. They're actually bringing 4, but it's no good if you're not in a position to use them. Muzi, he's going to take down Souls as a bit of a late trade. Psycho has a chance there, but narrowly gets himself out of the way. Julio saying, look, get behind me. I'm the one that has to go first. I can ping out all of this information. That's 1 of 4 C4s soaked on up there, as Julio is going to toss out a smoke grenade, just denying some of that sight line. We've seen him be deadly with this hipfire pistol before. Can it land its shots today?
Julio trying his hand at the quick hip fire. Muzi again lurking, waiting in the shadows, and strikes. Cameraman gone. Astro eliminates Kamikaze. That's the defuse carrier gone also. Cyber has that shotgun at this distance. It will be enough to send Muzi to a quick death, and oh, it rattles out, but cannot secure that kill. Julio takes a lot of damage. There goes the air jab, but Astro has the backup. That shield is eventually gone. And now NIP actually losing control. It was looking strong for them, but FaZe Clan so aggressive, refusing to die. Psycho misses out on that kill, and oh, that could be a costly one. Needed to pull that back into a 2 versus 2. A minute still to go. Muzi alive as well. He's came up to join him. Is it doable, Ollie?
Certainly doable with the tools that they have available, especially given the health on the side of a couple of the players on FaZe, but live information and an Ela shotgun at close range is going to be enough to shut down Muzi. Now it only leaves Psycho as the sole survivor. He's not got the greatest amount of health here. He's going to find the first over onto Astro, but already he's down to the pistol, and only the pistol. He is going to take his time to reload his primary, but Cyber laying prone, has the shotgun. Surely this is a guaranteed round here for FaZe, and it will be. Very much needed there coming out from FaZe. Finally, they managed to pick up a round on the defense.
FaZe had crazy strategies on the attack. Equal crazy strategies on the defense. Ollie, they had a 5-man roam. Nobody was in the bomb site for the first couple of, 40 seconds or so. FaZe, I think they're trying to kill me. I think they are. I can't deal with this. My stress level's through the roof. This Siege I'm watching, I cannot cope. Everything in my body that says this is how Siege should be played is gone. Everything's gone.
FaZe are really ripping the rulebook and throwing it out the window here.
Throwing it at me.
I mean, they're throwing it somewhere.
Make your strats. We don't need them. We're just going to run around the map and kill them all.
I liked the aggression there from FaZe. It worked well for them. Is it repeatable? We'll have to see. double peeking onto the air jab was crucial.
I think that was good. Yeah.
Being able to take out Julio in that instance, that then takes it from a 3 versus 3 to a 2 versus 3. That was a big difference maker there because Julio's still able to harass, gather all that information, and if you're able to give information to somebody like Muzi, and he's in a position to react to it, it's a scary old place to be.
I think NIP and FaZe might have had an agreement, Ollie, before this game that they're going to play a game of poker in terms of who can come up with the crazier strategies. We've seen FaZe Clan and Kafe with the Glass, and NIP have said, right, I'll raise you, we'll bring our own Glass.
Glass and a Lion coming out here from NIP. They're not bringing the Monty. To be honest, the Monty and Shields in general, they've worked a little bit today, but they haven't worked as much as we've previously seen.
They haven't been panicking, maybe that's why.
The backs haven't truly been up against the wall yet. NIP have often been fighting from in front. Sometimes a different, a bit of a different response when you're fighting from a bit of a lead, as opposed to it being a bit more of a do or die situation.
And NIP look better whenever they're actually on the back foot, don't they? Which is strange. Usually we see teams, if they're leading, they have that confidence about them. But NIP, we see the best out of them whenever they're losing. It's a weird one.
I think that's often because throughout the group stage, they've been on that back foot. They've been pushed and they've been threatened.
Yep, hasn't been easy for them.
And we're now getting to see them being able to fight from in front. And it is a bit of a different kettle of fish. Cyber going to find the opener onto Pino this time. That opening kill going in FaZe's favour a couple of times in a row now, but Muzi going to trade it on straight back out. Cameraman is taken down at the bottom of Astronomy Stairs. Muzi going to be able to get himself back on out of things. Loads of smoke inside of Study, and Psycho going to aggressively push on through. Toxic Babe canisters being used as well, and EE1D just trying to root that defender in place, but it seems as though they've already managed to make it back into the site.
I mean, the Glass has gave them the main stage control that they probably would have wanted, and here goes FaZe once again, and oh no! The sniper waiting for them and picks them off as if it's a high-value target that Psycho has been assigned to assassinate, and it's worked for them. NIP, they have the lead, but the HP isn't too favorable for them though, which is the only thing they should be worrying about, and Astro is actually going to pick up one, and the jump out from Bullet as well. Oh my word, FaZe, this aggression, they need to stop. It's left Souls all by himself, but NIP, they're not in a correct position to actually capitalize on that aggressive push from FaZe.
What they might be able to do now though is get these kills as a rotation, as Glaz is going to be holding the angle. Psycho finds one, he knows where the second player is. Souls knows where he is though, and gets him back as a 1-for-1 trade. Bullet loses a lot of health and in fact will be downed in the process. Kamikaze and Julio, they've probably got 10 HP between them. Fortunately for them, there are no Toxic Babe canisters left in pocket, and Souls is left to fight his way inside of Games Room here. Pre-firing as he goes, everybody knows where everybody else is at this moment in time. Kamikaze going to try and stick a plant behind Maps, and it looks as though that plant will be successful. Julio picks up the final headshot. Low health or not, it will not stop NIP here on Villa.
Great point you brought up, Ollie. FaZe having that aggression. Sure, NIP might not have been in a position to flood the bomb site, but they were there to cut anyone coming back in, and they did just that. The Glass working for them much better, I must add, than what FaZe tried to attempt with that operator. That's how it's done, FaZe. Oh, that's a tough shot to hit as well. Like, very narrow angle. OTS does have a bit of kick to it as well, so Psycho well trained in that weapon.
Equally as narrow, really, challenging onto that Study doorway as well. Like, not easy engagements to be taken there. Kamikaze being able to get the plant down. Julio with the cover.
Well.
That was so well played there. They knew that the player was inside of Games. Being able to cut off that, knowing the only accessible point was going to be through that vault. Beautiful stuff from NIP. Demo, that's going to put them on a match and a series point here inside of this upper bracket semi-final.
So much hype as well for NIP. The player cams have been great from them. And I think for NIP this is a derby. This is a Brazilian matchup. It's going to mean a lot more. You want to beat the teams that you play against on a regular basis. You want to show that even in the international competitions, they are still the top dogs.
I mean, this has been a last time derby. There's potential for another inside of the upper bracket finals because we, of course, have Oxygen and MIBR playing off against each other. That will then decide who goes against the winner of this match as well. LATAM proving that they can provide us with some hella entertaining Siege.
Unbelievable. I mean, I don't know what the scores are in the other games as well, but at the moment, as far as I'm concerned, is Brazil have dominated at least half. I think it's 6 Brazilian teams left and 6 of other regions. So overall, LATAM this competition have definitely excelled and probably, I would say, lived up to the hopes. A lot of people said LATAM looked the best coming into this competition. They've done that. They have shown us why everyone said it.
And the best news for whoever loses here is that they are not down and out. They fall down into the lower bracket and still have a chance at making another run. So, I mean, at the moment, it's looking like that could be FaZe, with NIP, of course, winning map number 1. NIP being on a match point here on Villa. This is a massive round. FaZe are stepping up to the occasion, though. Specifically Astro, finding that opening kill over onto Pino. Pino been the first blood in a number of rounds now, getting himself caught out there. It's not going to be ideal here. E1D scan going to come in as Muzi creeps his way down. There is going to be a player inside of Mudroom. It seems as though he's got intel on it. Goes for a bit of a panic pre-fire. That player is going to be Cyber. Cool as a cucumber. Not giving anything away, and he's going to win out the engagement. That's 2 big frags here for FaZe to keep them in this one.
Cyber needed to win that engagement. NIP up against it once more, and usually at this stage of the round, we would see NIP fall apart. They've lost 2 engagements, 2 big engagements on top of that. So I don't know if NIP have it in them to actually pull this one off, but if they do, it would be extremely impressive, but that's not looking to be a good sign. Another kill for FaZe, and NIP, this round not working out for them. I think those early engagements really hindering them, and they've kind of stalled out. Once again, Ollie, just the NIP effect, I suppose.
I mean, fortunately for NIP, they've got a reasonable advantage here.
Safety net, yeah.
To be able to, you know, come away with 1 or 2 rounds that don't go in their favor, but no real more than that. Still a chance for Kamikaze and Julio to make something happen. They were able to clutch out the previous round, albeit it wasn't against such a great odd. Something we've not even mentioned here inside of this round, Demo, is the Cav pick. Cameraman there picking Caveira, looking to get him, I don't know, maybe playing down inside of the basement, coming out for one of these interrogations perhaps. Julio will find a frag over onto Cameraman. Not going to be working off the world's amount of intel though. Cyber able to take down Kamikaze. It puts a lot of pressure on Julio's shoulders. He's not going to be able to take more than a couple of steps before Souls shuts him down. FaZe Clan keeping themselves in this for 1 more round.
Probably the most dominant round I think we've seen from FaZe as well. Like that was.
Where have they been?
That was clean. That's the FaZe that we expect. They win those engagements. They just keep pummeling away at their opponents. But, like you mentioned as well, NIP have that advantage. They have still 2 rounds before it goes into overtime. For FaZe, if they lose this matchup, it's not the end of the world.
It's not.
I personally think FaZe play better against teams that are not from Brazil. I think they look stronger against NA and EU. As we know, most of EU has knocked down in towards the lower bracket. We've lost 2 of them today, so there isn't too many left, but there is still some NA teams lurking also. But other matches are still being played. We'll have to see how everything plans out with the bracket. Still a long way to go, Ollie. This is only day 2 of the playoffs. 3 more to go as well.
Trophy and Statuary, the chosen objective for FaZe inside of this round. They can't afford to really make any more mistakes here. This needs to be clean now.
Panic Monty?
I don't like Panic Monty. We've been in that phrase. It is now the Monty effect. Okay. That's what we've got to come out with, because we've seen Julio play it when they're not in a position of panic. And I don't believe that NIP are panicking right now. I think that they're pretty calm and they know that they can do this. This round previously came down to a 1 versus 1. 1 frag is all it takes. 1 engagement going differently. A 1 versus 1 is not a great measure of how a round plays out. There's a lot of things that go before that to get you into that position. Multiple things that can change. So we have to see now how NIP want to try and bring this round. For me, a lot of focus is going to be on Pino. He has found himself be that opening death for multiple rounds in a row now. I believe it's 4 rounds in a row. That just isn't something that we usually think of when we're thinking of Pino.
Pino and Muzi have both entered in through the basement, trying to utilize this area of the map that we don't see all too much play on, but it has gifted them a kill. It's a good idea. Whenever FaZe Clan have been extremely aggressive the last time they tried to defend this bomb site, there was a 5-man roam setup, and they were utilizing the staircases that lead down into the basement for that effect, and NIP have read into that extremely well. Julio is down to assist Pino and Muzi, being able to be that human drone, enable them, being that enabler off the team. And whenever we've got that scary duo of Pino and Muzi, it is definitely a strength that NIP should play towards.
Bullet going to try and make a rotation now up these east stairs. Still just waiting for some information to come in. Julio's got himself down into kitchen. He's going to have to make quite a large rotation to have an impact into that master bedroom. You can gather information here, but it's kind of few and far between. Looks now as though he's going to get himself out there on the rappel. Cyber skulked on up from the basement, and he's going to get himself a freebie onto Muzi. That's a huge kill there from Cyber. Now can get himself all the way back upstairs as well. Likely pretty safe. Regain any position he really likes inside of the site. Still got all his utility as well.
A roamer that went unchecked from NIP, and Muzi is gone. He's the player that we look towards, and oh no! Julio got caught taking out a goo mine. The wall gets opened right beside him, and he gets eliminated. What a play from Astro. Oh my words. And FaZe, again, have this dominant standpoint that they're sticking to this aggressive play style, not giving them anything at all. They take everything from NIP. Cyber, unfortunate not to get that kill. Pino is being smoked out. There's a hole right above him, and the Mozzie somehow gets away out of that alive, and the drop from behind. Pino gets slaughtered. Psycho finds a double out of nowhere. NIP trying their best to hang on. A 2 versus 2 into a 1 versus 2, and Psycho does not have enough in the tank. FaZe Clan clawing at everything that they can. 6-5, NIP still lead, but Ollie, I'm sensing an OT.
The margin becomes narrower as these rounds tick on by. FaZe are digging incredibly deep to keep themselves inside of this map and inside of this upper bracket. They need a win here if they want to take this to overtime. This round is crucial. This decides now whether we go to OT or whether we see NIP taking the series here and now. The way that we saw FaZe play that round, that C4 in itself was beautiful stuff. Now, Astro was in the right place at the right time. That's fortunate. But the goo mine, who better to bring Demo than a Legion if you're going to play a Monty? The ironic thing, the thing that is the craziest about that whole ordeal, Cameraman was first blood. He's likely been able to throw 2 goo mines out there. Maybe 3. No more. And it'd be a push. That goo mine, I'm not saying it's won the round, but it has gone a long way there.
It's been a big reason why they've won the round.
It's been a big contributing factor. Huge plays on the side of FaZe being able to capitalize on that. Now we see NIP, to a degree, with their backs up against the wall.
No Monty. This time around, they've originated back to that Jackal and Lion combination that is pretty good for them, actually. I think Psycho played well with that C70, and Psycho, I think, today has been extremely strong. Very, very strong. I don't know what it is about him today. Something's happened to him overnight, and he is a new demon. I didn't think we'd see. Again, still that Pino and Muzi show that we have to keep harking on about, but Psycho, he's got a one-man band on the go.
Well, Pino's been shut down quite early in a couple of the rounds. He's been opening death in 3. It's something that I mentioned a little bit earlier on. He did find opening kill last time onto Cameraman, and that was quite big because already we saw a little bit of a shift and there was a possibility there for NIP, but ultimately FaZe dug a little bit too deep, and with Cyber on that extended roam downstairs just going entirely unchecked, it was always going to be a difficult round for NIP. This time, I imagine that they're going to take things a little bit slower and clear out those roamers a little bit more thoroughly. Still not bringing the Nomad, but instead, they're going to be able to bring the Jackal here. With the Lion combination, it should be enough to give them some information. There's a couple of C4s available on the side of FaZe. They've got to be careful that the intel isn't there in the form of the Valkyrie cameras.
You see the Jackal pings coming out now, and they're hunting as much as they can, and they will find their prey. Cyber is gone. A big opening kill that NIP needed to have. That gives them the top floor control. Now they can utilize any soft destruction that they have. You can see Psycho straight away pulling out the sidearm shotgun. Sure, they don't have a sledge. Sure, they don't have a buck, but they can still make it work. Muzi, prime position to cut down anyone who tries to rotate back up. And oh, the double push from FaZe. Cameraman's been down, but Bullet has done extremely well to get that kill and also get the revive. All of a sudden, FaZe Clan, they pulled out a great play, and that shut down that lone wolf from NIP.
It's not quite put NIP on the back foot, but it has certainly knocked their confidence a little bit in terms of this push, and they're going to have to get pretty aggressive here. We've seen Muzi gain so many kills from that 90 corridor previously, cutting off the rotations between the sites. Regularly, we see defenders inside of that living room area looking to make transitions on through. That now is an open freeway. Players can move without worry. Souls is going to grab a kill over on Psycho. Bullet a C4 as well. Souls looks like he's going to grab himself a second as he takes down Kamikaze. He's stepping up huge here for FaZe, and this is almost certainly an overtime here. Pino, he's got it all to do. 30 seconds and a 1 versus 4.
Pino, a lot to ask from you, but can you be the savior of ninjas? Let's see. Above, trying to play with the vertical angles, but FaZe seemingly have everything on lock. Nobody giving themselves away. Playing safe, playing decisive. And in the end, NIP running out of time. Pino just gonna save the KD. Doesn't want to chance his hand. Almost gets gifted a free kill. Misses some shots, but in the end it doesn't matter. FaZe Clan push it to overtime. NIP have been stunned, and they need to wake up quick, Ollie, because this has turned from a dream into a nightmare for NIP.
Slowly but surely, this has got Coastline written all over it. That is going to be our third map if required. NIP have now chosen to take their tactical timeout. It's kind of an interesting one. You know, they've gotten to this point without using it. They could have quite easily used it a couple of rounds ago, yet they've waited until the overtime to actually pull that out.
Overtime is a bit of a mental reset. Everything gets unlocked. It's a new start, essentially. So, if they want to use the timeout now, I suppose it gives them time to clear their heads. Think of it as they're starting from 0-0, which is essentially kind of what it is with OT, and go from there. They've lost 3 rounds in a row. FaZe have battled back massively. That's the FaZe that we feared. That is the FaZe that we expected to come out earlier, but they've only brought it out now. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? They've hit a bit of form. They have the momentum behind them now. Like you said, we could be on for a third map.
It really is anybody's now. You know, FaZe have gone from sort of struggling throughout this fixture, you know, two rounds that they were able to gain on their attacking round, only a couple of rounds inside of, sorry, only 1 round in the first 3 rounds of defense, and then they go on to win 3 rounds in a row. And the momentum shifts entirely toward FaZe's favor. These guys aren't wanting to go down into the lower bracket demo. These guys are fighting. They have got Coastline firmly set in their sights. NIP have struggled to close it out from here. Now they get that second chance. They have the chance of closing this out in overtime. That tactical timeout, that's for FaZe as well. You know, you take it for NIP, but FaZe can use that time to think and discuss between the players. They're going to have a good idea of how they want to do this. This has been a big win here for FaZe, regardless of the overall scoreline, to be able to get back to this point and level things up with 4-2 splits for either team. Massive stuff for FaZe.
Lineups from both sides. A little bit crazy once again. We're seeing Cyber actually 6-pick onto that Ela that he had great success with. NIP has 6-picked from an Ashe onto a Ying. Ying now comes into the fray of things. Both sides not afraid to test their operator pool, and how far can that go? For FaZe, whenever we've seen them play the Ying, little to no impact whatsoever. I wonder if NIP can do better.
I mean, if you're picking a Ying after a tactical, you've got to have a good idea of what you're doing. You've got a firm plan of where that Ying is getting deployed, where the Candelas are going to go, and how that's going to work in coordination with everything else. You think about Candela and an E1D going off at the same time. If that's executed well, it can be a massive swing for the attackers. Astro loses 75 HP. I guess just running through or running past Master Bedroom.
Yeah. Takes a bit of damage and has to be careful, of course. NIP, what plan do they have for us? Psycho has set up on Astro window with the Candelas. Wonder maybe if they're going to try and go for an Astro take. That would be a little bit wild. And there goes the first Lion scan, but Nothing comes off it, perhaps just for some information. I like the positioning that Pino's in as well. By himself over towards Wolf Window. That can cut off a lot of rotations. It can stop anyone trying to flood back in as NIP go for the flood into Astro, but it's not going to work for them. Souls is there, shuts down Psycho, and Cyber with that shotgun once again in those close ranges. It is deadly. Kamikaze via the Maverick Cools has found one, but that attack from NIP has not worked.
The Ying was kind of deployed in a strange way there. I think even a couple got caught inside of magnets. It didn't have the impact that NIP or Psycho wanted it to have there. Julio left to try and just play a bullet hole, which isn't really much of an attacking strategy. He's looking for a rotation kill here, just something to try and give them a chance at this round. Cyber laying in wait on the astronomy stairs. At the end of the day, FaZe don't need to move here. They are sitting pretty. The diffuser is going to be on the ground. Julio gets taken down there by Cyber. He's able to secure that frag. We can see the diffuser is going to be over toward the master bedroom side of things as Pino makes his approach. He's got so much utility to wade through as well. We can see two Banshees that are going to be in prime positions if he really wants to try and do anything inside of this round. He gets the indication that there's going to be somebody close. Does he anticipate the prone? Going to now try and swing his way on through. He does have enough time here. For 35 seconds and 2 kills to find it. It's very doable, but FaZe aren't giving anything up, and nor should they. If he tries to challenge Cyber at such close range, it's going to be game over, but no, instead Astro with the swing manages to find the kill from Astronomy. FaZe, 4 rounds in a row. They have gone from a dire straight situation now to leading here inside of this map of Villa, and with every chance of taking us all the way to coastline.
They have not led the map since 1-0. NIP has been in that lead since then. FaZe Clan pulling it back, fighting till that bitter end. FaZe Clan are a beast. If you try and cage them, they're going to fight as hard as they can to get out of that, and they've done that. I think it's a real credit to the passion that FaZe have. They never say die. They throw everything that they can because they treat every game as if it's their last day playing Siege, which I think it is passion. Passion beyond any amounts that you can ask from a team.
It's time for NIP to get fired up here. This is not a situation that I imagine they envision themselves in. The mental looks a little bit low.
Don't lose the mental.
We've seen some very expressive players there inside of the player cams in previous rounds, and as these last 4 rounds have gone by, it's just dipped. Every single round, a little bit more chipped away, and now NIP are in a difficult spot. Of course, if they lose here, we still have Coastline. We have a 3rd map to go to here to decide who will win. But it's got to affect you in some way, Demo. Losing 4 rounds in a row when you've been on that match point for so long and you've not been able to convert it, and now you're going against it. NIP have got their back up against the wall here. That is where we see them dig deep and perform. There are no more options here. They have to come big here.
Smiles turn to frustrations at times for NIP, but they're still not over yet. They have a defense. FaZe have went for this strategy once again. That's the only way I can describe it, that. Let's see how FaZe can deal with it. They have the Amaru once more. A couple of changes as well. Souls on the Amaru. Cameraman actually on the Dokkaebi, maybe wondering because Cameron has had the greatest of games. Souls playing very well right now. Is there a reason why we're seeing the operator change up? Souls isn't going to be as aggressive as what Cameraman was in terms of using the grappling hook. Using that G8 for all it's worth, an extremely strong gun, and Cyber hits another nade. We haven't seen him hit one since they were last on the attacking half. Could that be enough to see FaZe over the finish line? But no, Muzi cuts him down short. Now it's going to be a 4 versus 4.
Muzi's likely going to see another engagement right here and now as well, but is going to lose it out to Astro there. Astro having a chance at a player at the bottom of 90. He's going to choose to get his launcher down there and just confirm that there is in fact somebody that's going to be peeking on through. Cameraman with the swing. It didn't come at the same time. The kills are trading backward and forward now, but FaZe have the upper hand here. It's Kamikaze. He's seeing pressure from that 90 corridor. Tosses out a Toxic Babe canister just in an attempt to get himself back on into sight. Psycho is lit. He has to retreat as well. There is nowhere that is going to be safe here for NIP to play in, and there's so much time remaining, 1.5 minutes. Plenty of drones for FaZe ways to go on here. They can take the time, discover where these final 2 players for NIP are, and really drone them out and make sure that these kills come through as trades at the least.
All FaZe need to do is play safe Siege. Get people in positions. I'm loving the position from Souls. He can cut off the rotations, focus on getting that diffuser down, and everything will happen. Astra actually rotating around now. He has the diffuser. You would have thought that we would see most of the pressure in towards Aviator, and now we will see that rotate. There will be a Banshee, but I don't know how much that's going to affect FaZe. As quick trade off the diffuser, and Bullet now will have to move in. Souls holding it down with that G8. Has to be careful though, someone else could flank him from the other side, trying to eliminate the Banshee, and FaZe now wrapping round to the other side, moving in towards the bar. Psycho is holding it down, and FaZe is going back and forth, back and forth. I don't exactly know where they're going with this.
They don't really know what to do here. They've wasted quite a large portion of the time. There's still 30 seconds. Psycho finds a huge frag over onto Astro. We're now into a 2 versus 2. There isn't a lot of health available on the side of NIP. The kills start to come in for FaZe as Souls finds one onto Psycho. Kamikaze has it all to do. He's got 1 health. It's a 1 versus 1. Souls is looking to try and push him. Neither player really has too much information. The diffuser is going to be cold on the ground. Souls takes a moment to hit the reload. Kamikaze, he's likely got the shotgun. It's a close range, and we all know what this gun can do. The diffuser has been recovered. The time is running short. This is a guarantee here for Kamikaze. NIP, take it! FaZe, almost, but not quite. Max OT!
FaZe, that was a round that all you had to do was play safe. But they went back, they went forward, they went back, they went forward. They have no idea which way they were going. And NIP will capitalize. One little thing that I picked up on, Souls missed his shot with the Gone 6. He missed it. And that was the moment. That Banshee caused him so many issues. If only he had hit his shot on that, things would not have occurred the same way. One little mistake is enough to cost FaZe that potential round win and map win.
It all comes down to this demo. For FaZe, at least, if they want to try and stay in this upper bracket. What a final round we have seen there. Kamikaze, he was on no health pretty much for the entirety of that thing, as was Psycho. They didn't have 10 health between them going into that clutch.
Look at the reaction, look at his face, and the eyes open up, and look at that.
You go from terrified to elated in a second. I was shaking after that round. Max OT here on Villa.
10 seconds remaining.
God, the way Psycho was watching it as if he's watching a horror film, and all of a sudden, just a killer comes out of nowhere.
It is. It's been a horror film for a couple of rounds in a row.
Me and you watching that, we're going mental. What do you think they were like? Hearts in the mouth. Oh boy. Final round of Villa. Will it be 2-0 NIP, or will we see that third map? Only these two teams can decide that. FaZe, almost having it. It slipped through your fingers. Will round number 15 also slip through?
As we enter on in now to what will be the final round here of Villa, it is worth just reminding everyone the stakes that are on the table. If FaZe lose this round, they will drop down into that lower bracket. They are not going home. They will drop down into the lower bracket and they will have a chance to make a run. If NIP win this round, they will advance on through into the upper bracket. If FaZe win the round, we will be going to a coastline. We will be going to a third map, which, I'll be honest with you, Demo, it already feels like we've seen 3 maps between these two teams because we've seen a max overtime here on Villa. These two teams running the course, really struggling to separate them at this moment in time. Pino comes in huge, an opening frag and site control for all intents and purposes. Can he grab the second? No, gets shut down there by Souls. Was moving with the goo mine in his foot. Maybe a little bit of a questionable play. Souls has an idea now of where these pushes are coming in. Looks like it could be a quick round here from NIP.
Could be playing off those Dokkaebi calls. NIP trying to take full advantage of that. I mean, Pino got 1 kill, but you have to give credit to Souls. If he had lost that engagement and did not win that gunfight, then FaZe probably would have been dealing with a retake right now in the post plant. FaZe, look at them, a little bit shaken now. Don't know if NIP are going to carry on with that aggressive standpoint. NIP instead have actually rotated above. I wonder if Psycho's going to try and do any indestructibility on the bomb site. Does get a ping. Just hunting for anything that he can. You can see the support as well coming in from Muzi. But NIP are happy enough to take this time. They still have 50 seconds to go, more than enough, and Psycho will find Cyber in NIP. They have that control, Ollie. They've used the Dokumi call, and here comes the push.
Julio will be taken down off the back of that call, but Souls is seeing some damage in the return. Kamikaze will fall as Muzi makes a hell of a drop. He is able to find a kill over onto Cameraman. This could be it here for NIP. Souls, he is in the clutch situation. 1 versus 2. Kamikaze is going to be down, but will be revived. There's 25 seconds left. Muzi takes a chunk of damage there as he aggresses and tries to push onto Souls. I'd like to really see the plank going down here from NIP just to lock this one in for them, because Souls is going to start to find some flags. He picks up 2. This would be an ace clutch if he's able to do it. Pre-fires himself on out, but Muzi, he comes in massive for NIP.